back, guys. That was awkward as ever. You know me. How's everybody doing? Today we have I haven't done a guest in a really long time, y'all. Mostly I've just been gaming and chatting at you. So today we have really cool guest who actually I think one of my very first live streams was his channel or on a panel with him. I know this. So we have the Jinja Ninja. What's up?
You caught me mid-sip.
I did. I'm sorry.
It was planned. It was planned.
At least you weren't eating. I don't know. I feel like that'd be worse.
or some other things. Hey, how's it going there, Meg? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Thank you for having me on. It's It seems like it was ages ago. Whenever I think Tom and I were doing a stream, and then you popped on. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was literally the second live stream I'd ever been on in my life, which is super weird to think about. But yeah.
I know it's strange how time just flies by like that, and you've grown so bigger and fatter. Yeah.
No, I got some really good people. Let's say hi to people. Let's see who's here. I know there's some people here. They said they're here to simp for you, so you know.
Oh, I accept simping. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, see, angry Canadian.
Yes, fellow Japanese resident or Japan resident.
He's simping for you. We have Warwick of Legion Cast. Hello. Oh. Knackered now. What's up, Sean? We got a Phil. Thanks, Phil. We have Optic Racer. We have, who else is here? Spider, Kangarooster. I'm missing one. Bandito Bane. Everybody's jumping in right now and it's going crazy. Achilles. Hi. So yeah. All the Jinja Ninja simps. Oh, we already have questions coming in for you. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I've been seeing them already.
Look at this. I wonder what legendary Wild West movies have inspired you, if any, to work on this project. Ooh, okay. Any
westerns?
Yeah, westerns.
It's funny. Every time anybody asks me like Western movies, the first movie, and this is unapologetic at all, like the first movie that comes to mind is Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood. I love that movie so much. I wasn't the biggest. I haven't always been the biggest of Western fans. When I was younger, I was a huge Western fan. I watched them all the time, like all the Clint Eastwood movies, and my dad would have them on. Or whatever relative, my uncle, we'd always watch them. But I just love the movie Unforgiven. It's like my favorite Western, without a doubt, hands down. But that's just how I am.
Did it have like any did it inspire this in any way at all, or?
Well, that the story's all on Tom's side, so I don't know exactly what his inspirations were for. I believe he has a plethora of inspirations when it comes to what made him decide to come on to write this story. But personally, as for like an art side, I mean, I tend to, whenever I think of Western, I think of about a gritty kind of feel to it. And whenever I think of Western, I think of Clint Eastwood, and I always have that gritty feel to it, and that's what inspired me, I guess, whenever it comes to the artistic perspective. But as far as inspiration for the story, that would be from Tom's side, which I can't exactly answer for him, unfortunately.
And Tom couldn't be here today because he has to work like a late night shift. So sad, but well.
Like as far as modern day Westerns go, I believe it's, oh my gosh, what is it? The 311 to Yuma? Is that the name of the movie? I'm so bad with names. It's got Christian Bale and old guy who played a gladiator. Why am I missing our names? I'm so horrible at this.
Yeah, I'm really bad with names too.
You know who I'm talking about.
I know, I can see his face in my mind.
Yeah, he played Zeus. Oh my God, I'm so horrible with names. Yeah, but that was a really good modern Western that I liked. There's another one with Ed Harris and Renee Zellweger. It's a weird one. That was a good one as well. What was Alapalooza or something like that? 310 to Yuma. Thank you, Kaga Rooster. Again, I'm horrible with names.
Russell
You guys are
Crowe.
gonna have to help me out. Russell Crowe. Jeez, man. It's early in the morning here too. It's 9 o'clock. My brain's still waking up.
Oh, that's so great. I always forget. I don't know why. Yes, you're in Japan.
Got to be a big cup of coffee right here. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, to help out with the, yeah, so I'm gonna have to have, like, IMDb and Wikipedia open while I'm doing this because I just when it comes to names, blank out immediately. I
Ah,
gotta
it's
power
so
I
nice.
agree. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, if
But
you're
still
just popping Jinja Ninja here, we're talking about the comic book he illustrated that just came out, and he and Tom were so kind to gift this to me. Give me my own copy. And um I'm not gonna lie, I was confused. I had to read this
Mhm.
3 times.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to read it three
That's
times. I'm a speed reader, first of all. So like the first
right.
time I read something,
Yep.
I like it doesn't sink in. So then I have to read it like a second time. But then I had to read it like a third time, and I felt so dumb because I was like, this is not the Civil War that I know from history. Like
Yeah,
I
so
feel like we're
yeah.
in a different world or a different universe.
Right,
Am
yeah,
I
so
correct in that?
yeah, like, I don't know how much I'm able to give away. That's the
Okay.
whole thing, but so now it's supposed to be confusing in that point. That's one of I got a list of notes here from Tom for me to
Perfect.
go through because, I don't always like again, just being the artist here, all I could do is get the story that I'm given and then try to interpret it, visually the best to my ability. But when it comes as far as, like, how much I can reveal and everything, Tom's always, I wanna get his blessing before I talk about anything too much, but what he said that I should talk about this, since he won't be there. He wants to say that they are both a little confused with the setting, and that's intentional. Part of the
Okay.
writing style is to mislead or keep it vague to let the reader assume things before I show them and explain it to them. So it's kind of like leading you along. And a great comparison, and I talked to him about this whenever he was writing it. Um, there's a book that I'm reading right now by Brandon Sanderson. It's a series. It's going to be 10 books. I know there's a name for that. I don't know what it's called. But you basically, until book 3, you don't know exactly what's going on. Why, like, it is confusing. Like, why are these people like enemies of these people? Why are these people doing
Mhm.
this? Or why are these people doing that? And it's like, this does like so many things seem off. And then all of a sudden in book 3, you're like, oh, it's a big reveal. You know what I mean? So that's what the
Okay.
whole thing is here. Like, you're like, something is off here. It doesn't feel right. So later on, you're going to have some revelations. So yeah,
Okay.
that's
That
the
makes
main purpose.
sense.
Yeah, yeah,
Because the first time, of course, I was like, "Oh, I just sped read it. I'll read it a second time." And then I went,
right.
"I am definitely missing something, and I feel dumb. I need to do this again." So then that's the conclusion I came to. I was like, "Okay, there's something. It's a
Hmm.
different world.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, they're holding out on me. Alrighty."
Right, right. So yeah, that's and it's so difficult because you want to like spill the whole beans and tell people, but you got to keep it close to the chest. So,
Yeah.
but I think that's a good thing that you go through and you read it. You're like, you're supposed to be confused. You're supposed to be misled, and you're supposed to be wondering what's going on here. Something feels off. And I think that if personally, if that's what if you're reading that and that's how you feel, then it's succeeded in that goal.
Hmm.
If that's what his and it seems like that's what the goal for him was. And again, I can only speak so much from Tom's point of view, in Tom's place, but all I have to say is I've read through it a billion times because, of course, I had to illustrate it. And for me, what I try to do with my artwork is, and I listened to you and Pop's review of it, and I think one of the comments was like the colors are really bold, and yeah,
Super bold.
yeah,
I feel
and
like it's
that's
more bold than a lot of your artwork that I have seen.
yeah, yeah.
It was very different, like slightly different style.
Yeah, yeah, like, and again, I think what I was trying to do was, and again, this is my first comic, so and this is the first time I've ever like, whatchamacallit, worked with somebody, done a collaboration like this. And what I was trying to do is you're given a story, and to be honest, there wasn't a ton of action or things in there that you would compare to like a normal like action hero cape story, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
what I was trying to do was I was trying to be bold with use of color and use of like of some uh whatchamacallit, like oh my gosh, contrast, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, okay,
Like a
okay.
lot of contrast and a lot of bold colors to make the story a little bit more, I guess, the visual part more not exciting, but I guess yeah, trying to make it a little bit more exciting through those things.
Yeah, no, Pops and I
Yeah,
felt that, like, especially your backgrounds, because it was very, at times, very bold background. Like when there was like an action sequence, all of a
yeah,
sudden, like I noticed that there was no details in many of the backgrounds of your
right,
action sequences. You just had like
right,
these very bold colors. So it'd be
yeah,
like red or yellow. And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it was a very interesting choice, I thought, because other
Mhm.
times we could have some very detailed
Yeah,
backgrounds.
yeah, yeah. And I think what I was trying to do there was I was trying to focus on the 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 battle itself. Also, another thing from that is too is it's kind of a memory. It's so what I was trying to
Oh.
do there is I was trying to make it like a memory isn't really concrete.
Yeah.
So whenever you're going from a
Okay.
memory, I wanted it to be, this again, these are things that I was just thinking of while I was listening. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want the memory to be really like concrete and extremely um, accurate, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Also with him, with that character as well. And again, these are things I don't. I kind of want to have it as my own interpretation too from the story, and sometimes I wouldn't like really. I would get the pass from Tom, and so okay, I found it was cool, but I felt like that character maybe he kind of embellishes things, he exaggerates things, or he
Mhm.
lies about things. He's not being exactly truthful, so that's why I kind of wanted the things to be kind of vague around it. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. Maybe
No, I
I'm
like that idea
overthinking
because,
things,
like,
but that's
memories,
yeah.
you can't always trust your memories,
No,
like,
not at all. Yeah,
when we
yeah.
remember something, maybe we remember the worst part or we remember the best part, or, like, we build it
Exactly.
up as to something
Yep.
better than it
Yep.
was.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's actually a
Yeah.
very interesting concept, for
Yeah.
sure.
And again, I worked. All of this was like, done by hand. It was all, uh, you know, um, watercolor, a lot of watercolor, and some gouache and some acrylic inks and things like that. Multiple media. But I felt also too within the book, I was trying to have like a balance. I was trying to like, some pages I wanted to do this, some pages I wanted to do
Mhm.
that. Just trying to make it where like you weren't it was like wasn't just consistently like a monotone, if you know what I
Right,
mean? Like
right.
not just like a monotone. I was trying to have it like ups and downs and darks and lights and things like that. Yeah.
And I think honestly,
Yeah.
like, I understand why we do that, but I think that threw me off at first
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I'm
Yeah.
so used to, a lot of times modern comic books are very straight and,
Yep.
like,
Yep.
you know
Yep.
so
It's
it
it's
was
yeah.
different. The storytelling style was different and
Yeah.
the art style was different than what I was used to, and I was like, man,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm so used to being told, like, in a lot of modern stories you're kind of told what's gonna happen and
Right.
kind of what to think, and
Mhm.
we're like, it's just kind of fed to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the thing I actually like about this is that you're kind of forced to actually think. You can't just mindlessly jump into this.
Well, yeah, what I was telling Tom, we had like multiple conversations about, everything that was going on with the book. And one thing that I told him was I wanted to focus on the story. I really do. I think that you can have a lot of comic books out there that are all different art styles, and the art is, and great, a lot of them. But what it really stands the test of time is the story itself.
Mhm.
And then yeah, like for me too, again, this is my first comic that I've ever worked on, so a lot of it was like experimenting as I was going, you know what I mean? And we had like a deadline that we wanted to meet, and sometimes it was very, very challenging, balancing work and everything, and then trying to get this out. But I felt like as I was going, I was like experimenting with things as I was going along, and sometimes it passed the test with me, other times it didn't, and maybe sometimes I was trying not to second guess myself. I was trying to like go, okay, just be confident with it, go with it, and see what happens. So, and also I was messing around with like what I wanted to do was have a black and white version and a colored version. So I
That's
had to come
right.
up with a method to where I could have both original black and white and original color. So it was yeah, I was trying to make it to where see, I think that's another thing that caused it to look like how it did is I had to have an original black and white version, which mean the black and white had to be enticing as well and
Mhm.
strong.
Mhm.
And then I had to color on top of that with something that was transparent, and so that the
Yeah.
blacks didn't die, so the blacks
Right.
were
Yep.
preserved. So I was experimenting a lot here, just trying to come up with this, and I think that's what happened was that style evolved from that. So that's not
Mhm.
something I always do. So that's where I think that came from. If that answers your question as
Yeah,
to
no,
why
that
it looks
does.
different than other things.
It
Yeah,
does, because I was so used to your particular style of
yeah,
art, right?
yeah,
And so
right.
that would explain that for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
But
Hmm.
again, yeah, and I love getting criticism and everything like that, and that's what propels. We were talking about this beforehand. Like it's what propels you forward. And I know it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, and I look at it and I go, oh God, why did I put that part in there? Oh, I should have done this and not that. But again, it's all of these kind of projects are progression forward.
Hmm.
It's a step in the right direction, in my opinion. You know, you gotta
So
keep up.
you probably already see things like going into like the next book. You've
Yeah,
already got like ideas of like what you're gonna change, what you want to keep. Do you see your
yeah,
art?
yeah, yeah,
Do you
yeah.
see your art style changing a lot or a little or?
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm really hooked on watercolors right now, so I want to keep like you got to keep that kind of. I don't know. You look at other comic books back in the days, and the characters and the style and things changes as it goes along. I mean, like
Hmm.
Simpsons or stuff like that. But I mean, even like your X-Men or any kind of characters, it kind of yeah. So I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. But I would like to be better and try to like try to hone in on it, and of course make it better than it was before. So all I can do is just keep on practicing, 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 and see what comes of it. Yeah.
So how many books can we expect? Are you allowed to tell us?
To be honest, like Tom was throwing out the idea of like 20 somewhere,
Oh
but
wow.
yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Does he have like all the stories written already?
I don't.
Or
I think he's got like cliff notes and he's got like the basic timeline that he has in mind, but I don't think all the stories are completely finished. But yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Bold cells.
Well,
Bold cells.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Bold
yeah.
letters, they catch the
Bold.
eye.
Hi, Jim Kunkel and Zombie Box. Oh, Zombie Box is
Hello.
saying you look like Gary.
Everybody's been saying that lately. I actually had
Have you
somebody
the
actually
beard?
in a chat asking, "Oh, wow, you got," and they were like throwing it out. I don't know if they threw it out on Twitter or not, but they're like, "Gary's on some show or something." Like, uh-oh. His beard is a lot nicer than mine. I can't get it to go up into this section. It just won't do it. Maybe I need to put some fertilizer on there or something. I don't know.
Uh, okay. Don't they have like beard balm and beard oil? I don't know. I'm not a
Yeah,
guy
I'm
that
not. I'm a
understands.
newbie. I'm a beard newbie.
Oh, okay. You've never actually like grown one or kept one this long?
Well, this long? No, this is the longest it's ever been. I I've decided to just kind of do some Frozen and just let it go, let it go.
You're embracing your inner lumberjack.
Exactly, and I don't care. Do you know that? The Monty Python. I'm a lumberjack, and I don't. Okay.
Paul's is hail. Don't compare it to
What's up,
Gary.
Hale?
Red hair is the best.
Yeah.
There you
Uh,
go.
that is fact.
One of the kids I work with, he's got red hair,
Uh-huh.
and he he's got really thick glasses. And of all things, his parents decided that he should have a mullet on top of it.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, I was like, oh honey,
You know.
I love him to death, but
The mullet.
anyway.
Yeah. Well, it's trying to make a
Oh,
comeback, isn't it?
the mullets are, and it's a little scary. I'm not into it. I'm just gonna be honest. Mm-mm.
I've been tempted. Like my hair's just gone. I've just let it go wild, and it's all over the place now. But I've been thinking about not a mullet, but like doing something with it. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
But the
Yeah.
longer it is, the more you actually have to like do something with it.
Yeah, you have to do something with it. I mean, I used to have hair down to here. It used to be
No
really long.
way.
Yeah, but now I'm missing a little patch up here, if you know what I mean. You get to that
Yeah,
age,
yeah,
so I can't really pull that off like I used to. But you know,
yeah.
trying to make him a Ninja Turtles villain, Bebop. Oh, there we go.
Ginger, Ginger is Gary, but more badass. You got some
What?
simps,
Nah,
man.
hey, look at that.
Wow.
I I'm humbled. I'm sweating here.
So what are you working on right now? Are you gonna? Can I ask
I'm
what you're working on
working
right
on
now?
a ton of things right now. Okay, so the okay, what am I? Oh my geez, like I just got finished with Lady Balefire.
Yes.
Yeah, I just got finished doing her avatar,
Oh,
and
fun.
there's something for her. So I don't know when she's going to be revealing that, but that's over there. Just got finished with that. I'm working on preparing for Osaka Comic Con coming up in May. So hey, what's up there? How you doing? I never know how to pronounce her name. Idrisone,
I always
but
say Idrisone, and
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
pretty sure. Yeah,
yeah. She's a great lady.
she's lovely.
German, right? It can't, is she?
Yes,
Oh yeah, yeah,
yes, I believe she's
yeah,
German.
yeah. The Red Sonja, yeah, Richard Fox, yes. Oh, yeah, but I had her on recently. I met her at a Comic Con in Yokoto Comic Con. I had a booth there recently, and she was a cosplayer, but she's also an artist, and she's also very based.
Nice.
Yeah, her Witcher Fox 1776. That's her Instagram
Okay.
handle. So yeah, she came on and we had a stream this last Sunday. So yeah, working on artwork for Osaka Comic Con. I'm what else am I doing? Oh, I always feel like I've got like a million projects going on. Uh, I'm in talks with my friend from college he's making a game and he needs some illustrations for
Oh,
it. It's a fantasy game, I believe. So I need to get a hold of
cool.
him. That could be in the works as well. And I tried to get into Dallas Fan Expo. I didn't get accepted. Boo hoo.
Oh,
Yeah, I was on a wait list from the beginning, so I didn't have any high expectations for it, but I did. I was able to pay my fee for Boston Fan Expo, which means there's a possibility that I'm getting into that. So that'll be in August. Let's see. Yeah. Other than that, I'm just always just doing illustrations. I'm working on some oils right now, trying to mess around with those, and yeah, I feel like there's something I'm leaving out. Like, there's just so many things that I'm working on, they're all over the place. Yeah,
I would be so worried I would like forget something,
I do.
lose a piece of art somewhere, and be like, "What the?"
That happens. There's to this day, I have a piece and I cannot find, and I know it's in the house somewhere. I went to Osaka. I used to draw and paint sumo all the time. That
Mm,
used to be what I was addicted to. And I did a piece at the Fukuoka Basho, the Fukuoka tournament.
okay.
And it was all in oil pastel. I did it there at the venue, and it's like a really nice piece, and I have no idea where it is.
Oh
I have
no.
no idea where it is. It's looming around here somewhere. I don't know.
Oh
There's yeah,
man.
yeah,
But I mean, at least it wasn't like an art piece you made specifically for somebody
yeah, yeah.
else. That'd be bad.
There'll be some times though where like I'll get like a mail or something like, oh yeah, looking forward to that artwork. I'll be like, huh? Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's coming.
Yep, that's
That's
coming. Yeah,
coming.
yeah. I'm right there with you. Oh yeah, I'm all over
Woohoo.
the place.
Oh
I'm one of those
man.
people. I start off like I have like this planner and everything, and I'll start like yeah, really dedicated, writing my notes and in my thing, my planner, and then about 2 months later, it all turns to doodles. It's kind of like my notes in college. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't even like use an app on your phone and
No, no, I just can't be bothered with that. I'm horrible. Yeah,
I need to start doing that.
yeah.
I'm not busy enough that like I'm all over the place like that, but
Mhm.
I do need to start doing that.
Well, speaking of things that I'm like whenever you're talking about yeah my artwork, what I want to do with it, like with the next comic and everything, I'm always trying to get better. I always trying to improve. So I've been like buying some comics. I've been talking to artists on Instagram and things, watching their live streams.
Mhm.
Oh, don't forget Respect for Token. Thank you, Bandito. That's why you're here. Like, of course. Jeez.
Oh yeah.
Respect for Token. How can I forget that? Yeah, working on pieces for that. We've been doing that on Twitter here for a while now. So with April
Mhm.
13th coming up, oh my God, I'm so horrible. I should have notes down. April 13th, they're re-releasing The Return of the King in movie theaters, on certain movie theaters. This time the extended cut, the extended version. And me, Brian Buchanan, and Azura, who's from Italy,
Mhm.
The three of us have been working on this. Like we did like the trending campaign last time. I believe that was in
Yep.
February, was it? Or
I
January? I can't remember when it was. It feels like it was just the other day. But it was crazy. It just kind of took off. I thought it was only going to be for like one day for like a couple of hours. And then it's like months later, people are still doing it
Mhm.
and they want more. So I did 9 pictures for the the Fellowship of the Ring. And now I'm going to be doing 9 pictures. I've already got 2 finished for the 2 towers. And that's going to be this campaign. And then maybe for the next campaign, 9 pictures for Return of the King. Yeah. And
Sweet.
those are all in watercolor. Yeah. And I just sold one of those at Yokoto Comic Con. And another
Nice.
one is in the hands of another person in America. So yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Those are always exciting to work on. Yeah, so that's a project that um, eh, they just asked me like, hey, we would like to have your help to try to get more eyes on our trading campaign, and we got it to trend both times and multiple times in between. It's really crazy,
Thank you,
surreal.
Phil.
Thank you, Phil. Yeah, I appreciate that, bud. Oh,
Yeah.
Indiegogo, yeah. Indiegogo Anti-SteamJunk Western is still on in demand. I don't know how long it's going to be on in demand. Again, first time working through Indiegogo, so I don't know. I think it's like after 6 months, if nobody buys it, it goes off of in demand. I think that's what Tom said, but again, yeah.
So you guys are doing pretty good on there.
Yeah. I think we had a good, like I wasn't expecting like, wow, for me to see even like that many people back it and to see that amount of money people like supported us with, I was really, yeah, yeah, humbled. Just really happy with what I saw there. I thought again, uh, have like expect for the have low expectations and then expect for the least, and whenever you get that much follow, you're like blows you away. Yeah,
Happily surprised.
exactly.
So did you have a good experience on Indiegogo? Because I know,
Mandy
who?
Summers and Graham
Yes,
Nolan, they were shadow banned. Yeah.
some people have
Uh,
had trouble.
no, well, number one, we're not as big as they are.
Mm,
So I think that we kind of like, I don't know how it works. I guess I don't know. Like maybe there are smaller creators that whenever they were doing things that were of a certain subject matter, they got
mm,
hit. But with us, no, I don't think we were shadow banned or anything like that. Just because, if you look at the illustrations and everything that we had on our the campaign page, there wasn't anything that was really provocative or
right, yeah.
ultra violent. So I think that we kind of like were out of the uh, the sights of the shadow banners, those people who are in charge of that. Whereas Graham Nolan, again, he's a big name who goes against the grain, so
Yeah.
that's probably why they're hitting him. And then Mandy Summers, again, another a bigger name on there with more provocative images that they
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to find an excuse to subdue her.
Mm,
So yeah, no, I don't think we had any of that.
that's good.
Yeah,
Especially for your first time. Like, it's good that it's fairly smooth then,
yeah.
your whole experience.
I'm one of those kind of uh not I guess I wouldn't say perfectionist, but one of those people that have to have like perfect, alignment. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I see we have 47 backers. I'm like, if we only had 3 more, that would be an exact 50. Ooh, that would be great. So if anybody out there, if you haven't hopped on board, we need 3 more people to reach 50, and that would be like a dream come true for me because it would be an even number, and then the whole universe would be in balance.
Jinja Ninja needs even numbers, guys. So, like,
I
3
need
more
even
people.
numbers.
Let's go. The
Yes,
OCD says so.
the OCD. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah.
The OCD says so. I get
Yes.
that. I get that.
Oh, but speaking of comics, as we've been talking about lately, during the stream, I actually went to Tokyo to a comic book store. The first time I've been to a
Oh,
comic book store in ages. I would have to say for over 20 years because they don't have them
wow.
here in Japan. And then you have
Really?
to go to no, they don't have comic book stores here. There is one comic book store. There were two. No, there's multiple comic book stores in Tokyo, but the two biggest ones that I found, one of them was like I just looked up for like American comic books, and it gave me two big hits that were close to the place that I was at. And I went to one of them, and there was zero American comic books there. It was all manga. I was like, this isn't what I
Oh,
was looking for, and they were advertising for that. It's like, no,
right.
there wasn't here anything. And then
Hmm.
the next one I went to was only comic books, English, written in English and in Japanese. And I picked up. I don't have it close to me here. I don't know where I put them. My place is a wreck. I picked up Mark Silvestri's that Batman and Joker series team up that he's been doing.
Mm,
You know what I'm talking about?
yes.
Yeah.
I haven't read it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they had two of those. They had issue 1 and 2 there, so I picked those up. It's the first time I bought comic books in Japan at a store ever. Yeah, so that was a
Wow.
fun. It was all new stuff though, so it was like kind of. I was looking around. It was like I don't like how a lot of the new comics look. The color just
Mhm.
doesn't float my boat at all.
Yeah. There's
It
I've noticed they're either like very, very dark color-wise or very
yeah.
pastel.
Yeah. So, I mean, not to say that like my color is better or anything like that, but it's just like what I want to see in a book
Mhm.
that I want to read.
Yes.
Is yeah, it's just a certain kind of yeah aesthetic to it that with a lot of the newer stuff I don't see it. It just
Mhm.
doesn't hit me. Well, if I would have seen like a 1990s comic in there, I would have picked it up. But there was everything. It was everything from 2019 and above.
Wow.
Yeah, and I talked to the owner there. I was like, "Hey," 'cause my whole idea is if I'm going all the way up to Tokyo, I'm getting my butt all the way up there. I wanna be, like, promoting myself the whole time, but
Mhm.
not like, in your face promotion. But, so I went into the store. I was like, "Hey, do you guys, like, carry independent comics here?" And they're like, "Oh, we used to, but we don't anymore." I was like, "Well, I'm actually an independent creator myself, and I've got some with me. Would you if be interested?" He's like, "Well, we don't have them now," but I was like, "Well, here's my business card. Keep me
Mhm.
in mind, and if you have like change your idea down the road, just contact me, and yeah, I'd be more than happy to supply you with some stuff to sell." But it just if I had a comic store and somebody came in and I looked at their comic and I was like, they don't even want to look at it, They're just like
Oh.
the guy was so. I hope you're not listening. I doubt he is, but he's so like unenthusiastic. Do you know what I mean?
Ah.
Just like, "Yeah, hey, how's it going?" It's like, dude, if I am working at a place and I have a customer come in, I'm like, "Hello, how's it
Yeah.
going?" I'm like, I perk up and I'm ready to like interact. I just
Mhm.
didn't see
Mhm.
that with them at all. It just seemed like you're kind of stereotypic comic book owner, if you know what I mean, like comic book store owner. Hey, what's going on?
Oh, I haven't come across that because there's a
Yeah,
couple comic book stores in my area that I
yeah.
frequent, and like they're always super excited to see you, and they want to tell
Mm,
you all the new things that are coming
yeah,
out,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
what are you guys looking for, and everything. Oh, I have this
yeah.
in the back. Let me pull it out. And
Right.
like I've learned to ask you, do you have anything in the back that you haven't
Okay. Yeah.
like put on the shelf yet? And I guess like especially here in America,
Hmm.
um, people will sell their comic book collections or you know um
Yeah.
they're somebody will pass away and they
Hmm.
just are like,
Hmm.
I don't know what to do with this, please take it.
Right. Right.
And so I always ask you, like, get anything in, do you have anything in the back? I'm looking. I love to look at 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s,
Yeah,
90s,
it's beautiful,
and
isn't
it's
it? They're
just
beautiful, aren't they? I
yes.
mean, you're literally looking at like, and I consider it fine art. You're looking at fine art in print on in paperback, right?
Yeah.
So every single page that you're going through is it's visually stimulating, and it's a work of art. It's been, you know, and I think maybe with even with the Mark Silvestri comics that I got, I liked I enjoyed the pencil, the line work and everything, but I just I don't know. It was just it felt like the color killed it. Like I felt
Mm.
the color could have been better. That's just me though. I'm old
Yeah.
school, I guess. I don't know.
I've always been drawn to the old school stuff because of the
Yeah.
art, and then also because the storytelling. um
Mhm.
I just find it a lot deeper
Right.
and than most conventional storytelling, unless you go to like, and I'm talking like Marvel, DC,
Right. Right.
but unless you go to like independent comic book artists where
Mhm.
they're actually really trying to tell a story. Do you know what I'm saying?
I got you. What are I'm going to ask you some questions.
Oh,
What
oh.
are some comics that you've read recently that you're just like, wow, this is really compelling, something that I want to pass on and recommend to other people. Old school, old time, new ones, independent, anything that's really like caught your eye.
So actually I went to Pensacon
Uh huh.
in Orlando, not Orlando, Pensacon, Pensacola. Wow. And
That's okay. It's early in the morning for me.
it's not for me. I should be awake. It's not even eight
Just
o'clock
joking.
yet. And I was looking through the bins, and I'm always looking for Red Sonja.
Ah,
Because
yes.
right now I'm on a Red Sonja and a Spider Woman kind of a thing.
Yeah, I
I'm
got you.
on the lookout for them.
Yep.
And so I found this one called Blood of the Unicorn.
Ooh,
And
let me
I
look it
don't
up.
think I have it right. I don't have it right here with me. No, I think I put it away in my box. Um, but just it was very fantasy based, and the art was so beautiful, and the story, it was very compelling for me because I love Red Sonja, I love Conan,
Right.
I love those adventure fantasy type stories.
Yep.
But this one especially just like hooked me, and like right at the beginning of the get-go it was like she had to kill her horse because it got injured. Like it
Oh
was
no.
just boom, you just got thrown into this story. Yeah,
I'm
it
gonna
was
tell you
awesome.
something that's really crazy. I don't know if you know this or not, but
Mm.
I just looked up Blood of the Unicorn, and there's a brewing company with Blood of the Unicorn beer. It's a red ale style beer, and it's got the unicorn on there. It's totally been inspired by Red Sonja.
No
Yeah,
way.
yeah. I'll put it in the private for you here. Um. Oh, whoops. There we go. Yeah. I was just like, Blood of the Unicorn, Pipeworks Brewing Company is an American amber red ale style. That's on purpose for Red Sonja. And the image on the yeah,
Oh
it's like
wow,
yeah, it's totally
I should share this. That is
look at that.
interesting.
Look at
Hold on
that.
guys, I'm going to show you.
It's in Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah, Blood of the Unicorn. They've definitely had to have gotten some of that from some Red Sonja comic books that they saw.
Well, here
Yeah,
we go. Oh, look at that.
yeah.
Blood of the Hoppy. Hoppy red. Hoppy red?
Hoppy, get it? No, I'm just joking. No, 'cause yeah, that's bad.
One of our original hop beasts of bird makes its whimsically triumphant return. Blood of the Unicorn as Pipeworks Ninja versus Unicorn's hot
Whoa,
red-headed sister.
that's weird.
Well,
What a coincidence,
what
Ninja.
a coincidence. Are you sure you're not like you don't have something to do with this?
I know it sounds like it, doesn't it? It's a psyop. Oh, yeah,
That is
Ninja versus
interesting.
It's just what the hell? That
That's
is
funny.
what a coincidence. That's crazy.
I am not a
Again,
beer drinker. I'm not a beer person, but
I love some beer. The darker the better. Yeah. Oh yeah, I did so yeah, did you happen to catch any of the last stream or the witch when I had Witcher Fox on? Because she
no, I didn't.
cosplayed as Red Sonja. And then I had her on, and then I did an illustration of her as Red Sonja.
I saw your I was on Instagram and I saw that
Yeah,
illustration, but no, I
yeah,
never saw
yeah.
the show.
Yeah, she was at Yokota Comic Con. Yokota is a military base, and it was a different vibe there. It was like it wasn't open to the public. It was only for people who lived on base. So
Okay.
every Comic Con has like a different feeling to it. They
Yeah.
all like have like different kind of like the different people are participating there. And this one was strictly only for people on base. So there were hardly any Japanese people there, and it felt more like a family event, like going to
Mm.
Disneyland or something,
Mhm.
because there was just a bunch of families there. And it's like usually you don't see that at Comic Cons. You'll see like a few families, but it's more like people from their 20s to 40s, going around dressing up or uh, out looking for like meeting celebrities or what have you. But this one was
Right.
like little kids running around the place all over the place, like. was definitely a
Oh,
different vibe.
weird.
Yeah, so I found that that wasn't for me. For me, I have my goals for every Comic Con, like how much I want to, earn and everything.
Mhm.
And for the time, it was only for 5 hours too. It was only
Oh,
from
that's
one to
so short.
six. Yeah, it is. Yeah, and like you have to spend 3 hours putting it up and like a couple hours taking it down. So in fact, like the amount of time that I spent putting up and taking down was the same as the event itself. But
Dang.
she came by my booth and then she just went insane because she loved like all the fantasy, all the Lord of the Rings stuff. She's like, nobody does stuff like this anymore. And I was like, well, I don't know, I just do what I like to. I put it up,
Mhm.
And then she's like, we got to stream together. And I was like, well, why don't you hop on my stream and and I'll do like an illustration of you or something like that. And then yeah, that led to that, and then, I don't know, Toxic Man Flu might be in touch with her and stuff, so we'll see what happens, but,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's a fun guest to have on. It was the first time I really had, like, a guest on the show like that. I did have one my early days, it was just me and her talking, but this was the first time I had, like, with the whole panel and everything, so,
Right.
yeah, it was a fun experience, and I'd like to do that again. Maybe you could come on again.
Yeah. No, you usually do those, like, in the morning, like, Saturday morning? Is it Saturday?
Uh,
I don't know if it's Saturday for me.
Yeah, yeah, like, that would be Saturday night my time, which is it's actually possible for me to do stream Saturday night my time, Saturday morning for people over there. Because I find, like, Sunday morning, a lot of people have to go to church and stuff, or
Mhm.
maybe they're recovering Eric Sullivan, recovering from a big night out the night before. Yeah,
Oh,
sorry, what
Bandito
were we
says he
talking
gave her
yeah.
info to Makani.
Oh, okay, good, good.
Yeah, about Makani show.
Yeah.
With Makani? No. Yeah, cons. Most of the cons I've been to I didn't get a family feel like that.
No,
So that's very
it was
interesting.
it was completely family vibe, and I felt almost like a little embarrassed because a lot of my stuff is a little bit on borderline, you know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, Especially my posters, because I tried to go like those old, well, not the old movie, well, kind of like the retro movie posters of those B movie posters that were very, very edgy. So I
Yeah.
tried to, I kind of like uh, imitate that a bit. So some of the wording in there is not children friendly, and I was like, oh, there's a bunch of kids here. Oh, oh well, you're
Oh,
here.
it is
Everything's
what
up.
it
You got to
is.
roll with it. And then, it is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, when you go to a con at this point, you
Yeah,
need to kind of where you're gonna. People like to dress provocatively, and some people
yeah,
like to
yeah.
take the opportunity to do things they wouldn't normally do.
Right, right.
So.
Yeah, yeah. Well, again, it's like one of those events where people, it's almost, I don't want to say it's just like a stress relief, but it
Mm.
kind of is. You just kind of let it all out. Those
Yeah.
things that maybe you were keeping inside, it's a chance for you to just,
I feel like some
uh,
people go to, like, festivals like Burning Man, and other
yeah,
people go
yeah,
to cons.
yeah. Well, it's crazy. I went to, I know this isn't comic book related, but I went to the last big concert that I went to was Knot Fest, Slipknot
Okay.
Knot Fest in Tokyo about 7 years ago, 7.5 years ago. And it was so strange because all of these like people were coming straight from work. So you had like a bunch of Japanese people in their suits coming to like a Slipknot concert and like a lot of young ladies still in their office outfits. So it was like, oh, these people and I talked to a lot of people and they don't tell people that they listen to this kind of music because, you know, you don't hear a lot of Japanese people talk about listening to Slipknot, things like that. Because if you look at mainstream music here, it's like all boy bands or
Mm.
it's just not music, you know what I mean? So it's not socially accepted to listen to that kind of genre. I don't know.
Ah.
It is now though, more so than it was before. You actually hear it on the radio now. Um, but yeah, it was really strange. So that those concerts were a way for those people to kind of like let it out as well. Something
Right.
that's not on your, not daily talked about or something that you were kind of wanting to, it's kind of that, you connect with it and
Mhm.
you can't,
Mhm.
so that they'll go to those concerts is another way. So I guess, yeah, Comic Con's another way for people to kind of let that inner side of them out.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, low spec, everything about when it comes to metal bands in Japan. So yeah, there's a lot of them coming out now, and you've seen it gradually start within the last few years. Yeah, yeah.
No. I don't. I only just started listening to metal, so like I don't know a lot about.
Yeah.
I'm still just learning.
Well, it's funny that you say that because, I don't know if you ever watched those music video reaction, YouTubers. Have you ever watched them?
Yep. Yep.
Okay, I like, the Charismatic Voice. I'm giving you a shout out here, Charismatic Voice, not that you need my shout out, but she's also kind of a geeky lady. She does, like D&D and D and things like that,
Oh
and
wow.
she's a huge fan of I'm gonna get their name wrong, Hailing. They're from, like Norway and Sweden and up that way, Northern European. They have like the old Viking prayers and stuff, and that's
Oh.
their music. They're awesome. Like they're really, really awesome. But she's like she of course she started off with like, she's an opera singer. So she's like classically trained and things like that. And then she's only recently within the last few years gotten into metal. And she's just like she adores it. And I've heard so many people who are like they weren't into it, but at first it's just like, oh, it's just loud screaming. But no, when you really listen to not just the music itself, but the lyrics and everything, it's really, really compelling.
There's a lot of
Uh,
crossover between classical opera into
mhm,
metal. And
yep.
honestly, metal is one of those genres that is actually technically musically it's very complicated.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like
extremely. Yeah.
it's not like pop or something or even
Nope.
most rock. Metal
Right.
is, especially if you get into like symphonic metal or something.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
lot more complicated. Um, yeah, than a lot of other popular music.
Yeah, yeah, oh, it was funny to listen who was I listening no, it was actually, people what do you listen to whenever you're doing artwork? And, I listen to, like sometimes I listen to YouTubers, sometimes I listen to, audiobooks, sometimes I listen to, yeah, it just all depends, like, but yeah, I could always listen to metal. It's like a consistent. It's funny though, I'm listening to a Canadian group right now. I don't know if you've
Oh,
ever heard of them. They're not metal, but it's more like of a punks. I don't know how to describe them. Billy Talent. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
I've heard of. I don't listen to them, but I've heard
Yeah,
of
Billy
them.
Talent. I like their new album. It's really good.
That's
Well,
really
it came back a few years ago. Nickelback? No, no, thanks. Not my cup of tea.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm, mm.
So yeah, I don't know why we were talking about the reaction video people. Why were we talking about that? I guess it was with music.
Uh,
Yeah, music,
music.
yeah, yeah, and
Yeah.
metal, yeah, yeah. But I thought it was really crazy, like the Charismatic Voice, that, YouTuber, she went into the rabbit hole of System of a Down. It's like, yes. I love those guys. That's a great one. And now she's getting into Deftones. So if any of you out there haven't listened to Deftones before, please check them out. They're great,
I
amazing. Uh, Deftones is just Deftones. There's no other band that sounds like them. Um, yeah, from California,
haven't.
great
Okay.
guys. Yes,
I'll have to
White,
look that. I'll have to look them up.
yeah, Deftones. Check out White
Deftones.
Pony, the album White Pony, really, really good.
I can't get my pen out. My pen is stuck. Okay. White Pony.
Yeah, I know we were
Okay.
supposed to be talking about comics, but this just kind of goes all over
Hey.
the place.
Yeah. I'm. That's what my streams are. I'm just all over. Like it just. Yeah. I'm everywhere. My chat knows to just expect the unexpected, so that's the way it is. You know.
Yeah, so yeah, speaking of the chat, if you guys got any questions out there, feel free to throw
Yes.
them in there. Would love
Ask
to,
Jinja Ninja anything
yeah,
about his comic
anything.
book, his art, anything you want to ask. I feel like
So,
I asked.
speaking of art, and this is because I went to when I had Witcher Fox on my channel the other day, we were talking about Frazetta because I love Frazetta's work. Like
Mm-hmm.
any artist out there will tell you, any comic book artist out there, if they don't tell you that Frazetta has been an influence on them, then they're lying. Well, I don't know about the modern day comic artists though, but
Yeah.
the big names. So I'm trying to get into oils again. So I'm working on this. I'll just show it. Like it's nothing spectacular, but this Wolverine oil piece I'm working on right now. Oil painting. Yeah, that's fun.
I like
Yeah, I really like the little parts like his feet. I don't know why.
that. So, so
So
oil.
stuff. Yep.
I don't paint a lot, but oil paint, like I'd usually do acrylic because it's so easy to mix and blend, and
Yeah.
you can work with it really quickly. It dries fast. Oil takes a while to dry, and if you're not careful, it can get muddy, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, well, I work fairly quickly with mine too. It's impasto technique, where you
Okay.
basically just straight out of the tube, you don't mix it with anything, and you just do it that way. And it can get muddy, but what you do is you just keep on layering on top of it. And now you're not going to get that.
Ah.
You're not going to get. You can also add some mediums. I'm not an expert in oil painting at all, but like I got some techniques from Kent Williams, who's a really huge artist, and he's done comic book work as well. He did The Fountain. I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Fountain by
Mm-mm.
Darren Aronofsky. Is that how you pronounce that? He did The Whale. Actually, that's crazy. The Whale. Okay, so he just did an illustration for The Whale. Let me look this up. Kent Williams. He did illustrations for. He did the graphic novel The Fountain, which was also directed by Aronofsky. I'm going to get his name wrong. Um, so yeah, the Whale won the what's his face, the actor.
Um.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, you know who I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. He like
uh,
wore a fat suit, and everybody was like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, there was drama.
Brendan Fraser.
That's him.
Yeah, so he did an illustration of. I want to see a better picture of this. Let me try to find it on Facebook. He did an illustration for The Whale of Brendan Fraser, and uh, yeah. So I would like to share that because Kent Williams is one of my favorite artists out there. If that's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's just his stuff is disgustingly sick. Really good. Okay, I'll share my screen if this is okay. Um, Let me share this right here and Facebook. All right, there we go. This is his illustration of Brendan Fraser, and uh, this is Kent Williams, an amazing style, and this is probably acrylic with oil. He
Okay.
works, so he does the acrylic base and then goes on top. Well, I don't know for certain for this one, but I learned a lot of techniques from him, and this is his picture of the whale. There's no nudity down there, so you're okay.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah, so it's just his. Oh, it's disgusting. His color palette is really. I like how he has this faded out look to it, but so yeah, that's how it starts out,
Wow.
and then this kind of might have been the sketch at first for it, but yeah, that was his picture of the
I'm
whale.
always impressed by people that can paint water. Like
Yes, yes, yeah.
there's the water and you can see him
Oh,
under
sorry,
the
I took it off.
No,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. That
Like
that transparency look to it.
yeah. That
Well,
is
yeah, you have to
crazy
paint the
to me.
whole. The thing that's really, really intimidating about that is that you have to paint the whole body really nice first, and then you paint on top of that. So it's like
Mm.
you just took like you paint something really nice. You almost paint it to perfection in your eyes, perfection, and then you go on top of that. So it's like there's no messing up. You have to throw it all out there. You put it all on the table.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
So um, he's done some. Kent Williams has done some amazing work. Like his figures for comic book characters as well are like it's done like from a fine artist point of view, and
Mm.
so he uses reference models. Like he has his models that he uses for references, and so it's very realistic looking, but it's got like this abstract, like very
Yeah.
grotesque feeling to it as well, which he got from Egon Schiele, whose exhibition I just went saw in Yokota. Egon Schiele is one of my favorite artists as well. He was kind of a protege of Klimt, Gustav Klimt, who did The Kiss, those two
Oh,
people kissing.
yeah.
So Egon Schiele, I wouldn't pull up his work on because he did a lot of provocative stuff. Um, but they just had an exhibition of him and like the artists that he worked with on in Tokyo, and I went and saw that, and I just like sat there, walked around the comp. Like I had a talk. I was talking with Sullivan about it, the Sully about this, and it's like I looked at the pieces, and I have this. It's a mixture of joy and depression.
Mm,
It's really weird. We were kind of talking about this earlier, but highs and lows,
yep.
like right there at the same time. Like like I felt this jubilation, but at the same time, this kind of dark depression. At the same time, but it it's an experience that you can't replicate outside of that exhibition experience. Especially as an artist, you're looking into it and loving all of his artwork for his talent and how he evolved and the barriers he broke and the chances he took. And at the same time, you're going, what am I doing with my work? What is the legacy that I will leave behind? It's nothing compared to this. You have so much more work to do. Those kind of thoughts go through your head
Hmm.
as you're going
Those
around
kind
the
of things
gallery.
that like drive you, or it's like
Yes.
inspiration plus
Yeah.
drive, and you kind of, to be driven, you kind of need like a certain amount of, not shame or guilt, but
Oh, yeah. Something that puts you in, like that like it hits you in
humbling.
the face.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It knocks you down and it tells you, no, no, don't even think that you've reached your pinnacle. Don't think that you've done anything that is substantially going to change the world. You've got lots of work to do, buddy.
Hmm. Hmm.
Don't be complacent. Yeah. It knocks
Exactly.
you off your complacency. Yeah. Yeah. So and just talking about that kind of stuff just gets me all excited and sweaty. Yeah.
I think creative people need that. Whatever it is that you create, you need that little bit of that constant, like you said, that high and low, those opposites.
Mhm.
Because if things are going like really, really, really well, you get complacent, you get comfortable, and what do you
Yeah,
have to work for?
exactly.
What are you
Which
working for?
Yeah, which was something that was kind of interesting about that exhibition. Egon Schiele, he died when he was 28 years old. And it's like, "Oh my
Wow.
god, that was so young." But in the 10 years that he started, well, he was already painting and stuff when he was young, but he really got into it whenever he was like around 18 or so when he
Hmm.
started, making his body of work. And it's just like, where else could he have gone, you know? I felt like he reached his pinnacle at that age, but he was just busting out artwork day after day. Kinda
Yeah.
crazy. He died of the Spanish flu, 1918, him and his wife basically within, I think it was, like, months of each other
Oh wow.
or, something along that line, but, like, his work, whatever it was in 2018, like, I was just that work that he did just in that little time has inspired so many artists out there, and you could talk to, like, a lot of the comic book artists, Frank Frazetta, you could talk to, oh my gosh, I'm getting his name wrong, like, E.L. Is it Geist or Gist? I don't know how to pronounce his last name. He's got a lot of his stuff on Instagram, and Twitter. He does a lot of covers for comic books. If you talk to David Finch, if you talk to Kent Williams, if you talk to Phil Hale, all those guys will tell you that they have gone over and over through Egon Schiele's work. So that little amount of time that he was doing his work had a huge impact on people in the future. So he put it all out there in that short amount of time, and I looked at that. I'm like, you're don't become complacent. Don't
Hmm.
don't settle on any kind of success that you have and keep on pushing yourself further. Yeah,
Yeah. I'm one of
really.
those people that I do get easily complacent. And so my fear, like that's my greatest fear,
Right.
honestly, is to get um too complacent. And I'm like, hey, I need what's my next thing?
Yeah, this
What
is
am
a
I
good
doing?
point right here. He thinks the problem with modern comic book writers. I feel like I'm taking. Sorry, you should be
No,
leading this,
go.
Megan.
This is great.
Yeah, I think that the problem with modern comic book writers today, they go out trying to change the world, but writers like Kirby, Stanley, McFarlane, and Millar only want to entertain. Yes, just to have a good time. I think
Hmm.
that's, this kind of brings me back to when I was doing the comic book as well. I kind of, and I know this might sound kind of selfish, but I wasn't really thinking about whether or not everybody was going to enjoy my artwork. Because if I sat there and thought about that the whole time, then I wouldn't be able to draw or paint anything. I would just be, uh, if you have that in your mind the whole time, like, is everybody going to like this? Is everybody going to like this? Is everybody going to like this? Then you're
Mm.
not going to allow yourself to take chances.
Yeah.
And you're not always going to succeed. You're going to fail. but you have to have fun while you're doing it. And whenever you have fun when you're doing it, that will transcend.
Absolutely. No, people will pick up on that.
Yeah.
And I think that that is a good point because if if you only come in with this certain purpose of what you want people to think,
Yeah.
I mean, that's not the point of art.
No, no, it's not. I mean, because if you want people to go in there and they're going to have an art piece will be interpreted in different ways, and that's just the way it is because
Yep.
culture is different
Yep.
along the board. People's experiences are different, even within the same culture. And yeah, so if you go in mind saying that people have to get this message when they see this artwork, then you're way off.
Mhm.
You've lost the point. Because imagine what it's going to be like when it's seen like 100 years from then. People aren't going to be looking at it for that message that you were trying to. Um, and I think that's the reason a lot of modern art gets lost amongst people because it was for a message at that time. It was a commentary about the art world, in my
Yep.
opinion. Like whenever
Yep.
you see like a Warhol or something, that's really abstract, people are like, "Why am I supposed to enjoy this?" And I tell people straight up, "You're not supposed to. You're
You're only
not
supposed to
supposed
in
to."
that moment have this certain thought and then it's going to become forgettable.
Or if you're like a really huge art connoisseur, then yeah, you'll be able to look at that and enjoy it. But if it's not for your regular person to go out there and
Mhm.
enjoy it, it's not. Uh, Achilles joke. I'm gonna keep on reading stuff. If you let me, I'll just talk the whole time. I'm horrible about that, Megan.
It's
I
okay. I'm
I
not
don't.
a big talker, so like
Yeah, yeah,
I like that I can have guests that can hold their own
right.
because I'm not a big talker. But it's okay. I'll read it. Do you have a
Okay.
story in mind you want to tell on your own through your art? For example, I want to see King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table.
Well, that's all with this. I'll just show a few pieces if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Just I'll do a little bit of. I think it's nice stuff to show them on the computer, but it's nice to also show like the originals as well, like the Mart. Oh, let me take it out of this film. It's
Yeah.
glaring.
I'm gonna
Um,
large size you.
oh, right. So like the March of the Ents uh, with Tolkien's, like doing these pieces has been great because it's an established story already, but I get to go back into them and then kind of give my own interpretation of what's going on. I go back into the books and read the books, and I try not to like watch the movies, and I try
Hmm.
to get those images out of my head. So I have like, like an original looking piece, something that's so going back into the story, like
I love
Gimli and
this.
yeah. And see, so this is the style that I'm. I don't know. I guess this is my comic book style. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And so this is my comic book style. So whenever I do comic book work, I like to have it like this. This is. I just feel comfortable working this way. And if I'm not, I'll just be honest. Like it's really comfortable for me to work that way. But I also want to like experiment with stuff outside of that. I don't want to just do that kind of work. But I think all kinds of artists like try to, like this one with Bilbo working at his
Mm.
desk. Just it's just really really fun and easy, and it doesn't feel like I'm forcing anything. So when it comes to like my own story, I have ideas of stories that I would like to tell, um, and yeah, I would like to do them in that kind of illustration. Or who knows, I might mess around with this oil painting stuff again and kind of get funky with that. I don't know. I kind of like, and I'm not going to compare myself to anybody who's really great, but let's say, for example, you have um, why am I blanking on people's names? This is so stupid. Oh my gosh. Oh man, Labyrinth, the singer.
Mm.
You know his name. We all know his name. Why am I blanking on his name? My daughter and I we just watched it Labyrinth the other day, and she loved it. Bowie,
Um.
David Bowie. My God,
Yes.
I deserve to be punched in the face.
All I
Uh,
see is faces. I don't remember names.
all right, David Bowie was just like he just did all kinds of crazy stuff, It's just,
Mhm.
and then I think there was a quote from him like, a lot of the reason, and I wasn't a huge fan of his works until like, I listen to him more now than I did before, but it just all of a sudden just change, what he was doing. All right, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yep.
And there should be no license where it says that an artist completely has to do the same thing over and over. Even like when I was like Kent Williams, if you look at his earlier stuff compared to now, it's different. There's a different color palette, different feeling to it, and I think that artists should be able to um, break those boundaries. Egon Schiele, he was like constantly doing different stuff, trying different things, and even in that short amount of 10 years, like there was that unifying feeling to it that you knew it was his work, but he was constantly experimenting with new things, which is what I want to be doing. I don't want to get stuck in just doing one thing all the time. But there
Mhm.
has to have that underlying feeling that, oh, James Harris, the Jinja Ninja, did this. I want
Right.
that to be
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
And if I'm copying somebody's work, then I'm going to lose that. But if I'm trying to experiment, that essence of me will constantly be there, I think.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
That makes
I
sense.
don't know why I'm going off on that tangent, but there we go.
Hey,
This is
I
my
don't
this
mind.
is
I don't
my
mind
uh
tangents.
my therapy session. Vegas show is my therapy session. Yeah.
I don't really have a specific theme to my shows, so we just go with the flow here. That's
Well,
all we
I'm really
do.
honored that you had me on here and you went out of your way to ask me to be on here. And I appreciate you looking at the book and giving your honest opinion too, because I just can't be surrounded by people who say that's great. That's great. It's great to hear compliments. It's great to know people love what you're doing, but it's also extremely, extremely necessary to have criticism that is done from the heart
Mm.
with honesty in mind. What's the word I'm looking for? Something criticism. What do they call it?
Constructive.
Constructive criticism. Thank you. I've
Yes,
forgotten my language. I do not speak English anymore. Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
You're
Constructive
not living
criticism.
in an English. Yeah. No, you need constructive criticism. I feel the same. You get a compliment about something, but it's not specific,
Hmm.
and so obviously you accept it graciously or like
Oh,
of
of
course,
course. Yes,
but
yeah.
but you always go okay.
Well, the only way that you could get that kind of constructive criticism, like, and I'm not saying this about anybody out there. Everybody, you love the kind of artwork that you love, right? You have
Hmm.
your own
Hmm.
taste. But when it comes from another artist or somebody who has the artist vernacular or they're knowledgeable about those certain kind of terms, which myself, I'm not even that great at it. I have trouble critiquing people's work because my vernacular is complete crap. But you'll get like an artist who goes, "Oh, I really enjoy," or people who know about that. I really enjoy your use of contrast there, or your use of contour lines, or the negative space and things like that. And like, oh, okay, but I don't like what's just going on here. Okay, cool. Well, and I'll accept that for criticism from anybody as long as it's constructive.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. Because I am my
Okay.
own worst critique, but
Yeah.
it's good to hear it from other people as well. Yeah,
Do you ever get tired of looking at your stuff, or you're
all the
like
time,
you get sick of seeing it?
all the time. But what's fun is like you see it like months or years later, and then you go, oh yeah, I remember doing that. But especially whenever I'm finished with the piece, I'll look at it. Except for the Lord of the Rings ones. For the Lord of the Rings ones, I have fun looking at them all the time. I'm like, oh, these are fun. Because I don't know. I guess it's because, but I always look at them and go, the first thing that I see are aspects that I don't like.
Mm, mhm,
And then
mhm.
after I could get over that, I could enjoy it for what it is. But I know this sounds kind of like a little conceited, but I'll be like looking, I'll open up Instagram and I have two accounts. I have my fine art one and I have my comic book one.
Right.
James Harris Painter is the fine art one, which now they've kind of like coincided, kind of like overlapped. Because a lot of what I do now with these Tolkien paintings and everything, I consider to be like more fine art work.
Mhm.
Um, but then my picture will pop up on the timeline because it's from the Jinja Ninja, right? Because we're
Right.
connected. And I'm like, oh, what's that piece? And I go, oh, that's mine. Oh.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that.
This
Oh,
looks
okay.
good. That's funny.
Yeah. So sometimes that'll happen.
But
I'm
that's
like, oh,
also a good thing. You're
yeah.
like that you like your own art too at times. That's not
But I
bad.
could sit around and watch other people's art when I'm just like disgusted about how amazing it is. And I'm like, wow, if only I could do that. But in the end, I'm like, okay, that's their thing. That's what they're doing. You just stick with yours. You try to like, get inspiration and get
Mhm.
inspired by it, but at the same time, don't get down on yourself. You know, it's all a journey. Enjoy the journey. It's not about it's not about the finished piece. It's about the journey. It's about the process. Just focus on that. Have a good time with that. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's funny, like the comic book that I did, going back to that, circling back. I find that the it's like looking at this comic to me is like a journey in itself because I started off, and as the comic book goes through, I felt like I got more and more like kind of creative with it as I
Okay.
went along, or maybe the style kind of, or I don't know. So
Like the style changed?
or there was things I was trying out that were different, and then I felt
Cuz
like
I
more
can
the
totally I feel I'm not like a artist or whatever, but
yeah,
that's the feeling I got that
yeah.
your art style changed slightly through it.
Yeah, yeah, it did. Yeah, and it's just because
And
it's the first time I was
yeah.
experimenting as I was working on this. But we had like a timeline and we had like a deadline. So it was just like, okay, this is gonna be this is something that's not normal. It's not your normal comic book. You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, it was definitely a journey for me. But I don't know. It's like, oh, well, it's like you're going through an exhibition. You're gonna see the journey of the art. Oh, what am I freaking talking about? Of course, there's a huge thing that's going on. Give me this coming Monday, in Miyakonojo Art Museum, City Art Museum. I'm going to be putting up the entirety of Anti-SteamJunk Western in a museum.
No
Yeah, I don't know
way!
how I forgot about that.
Oh, wow! That is so cool.
Hold on 1 second. I was supposed to have these
Wow.
pieces. If you look up at the corner next to the Van Gogh piece, you could see that there are 4 pieces framed. I've got them all framed and ready. Hold on a second. I'm so stupid.
Okay. That's so funny. Yeah, he forgot the most important thing. Vagabundo, I see you.
Okay, that's. I cannot believe I forgot to talk about that. I knew that. See, there's just so many things going on that I forget about these things. But so I'm part of. Well, I used to be. This is the last time I'm going to be exhibiting with them. There are a lot of art groups here in Japan. So one of the ones I was part of was Shin Shokai, and the Shin Shokai is like Shin means new, show is like impression. So like the new like the new generation of artists kind of thing.
Okay.
But it's kind of a lot of those groups. It's really consists of like a bunch of the, I guess, the elderly. There are a lot of
Mm.
older artists in there, and oh wow, back to Indigo just now. Thank you, Money Wilson.
Yay!
Yay, awesome.
Thank
Appreciate it, bud.
you.
Wow,
Thank you,
thank you.
Emily. He
Um,
really wants to get to 50.
right, 2 more to go.
Two more to
Um,
go now.
so I've I've been struggling as trying to find my footing as what I want to do with my art, and I used to do a lot of abstract work. I used to do a lot of um, work that I don't. I felt like I was forced. I was. It felt forced. It didn't
Mm.
feel.
Mhm.
I mean, I enjoyed what I was like. I'd get into that moment, and sometimes I would have like a good result, and other times it was just like, "What am I doing with this? What am I doing here? I have no idea what's going on." So with I've been exhibiting with these people for the last 4 or 5 years, but with all the COVID stuff, everybody just went on hiatus, and that's what I went and started doing this comic illustration work. But I told them like, okay, I'm leaving the group, but this is going to be the like last exhibition. And I told them like, look, I haven't done anything really fine art esque on a really big grand scale because people exhibit really big paintings there. Like we're
Okay.
talking about, 3, 4 feet, 5, six
Oh,
feet
wow.
pictures. I had like 6 feet pictures there. Um, I told them like I haven't done anything, but I've been working on this. I've got a comic, and I was like, it's all hand drawn, hand painted. They're like, oh, we'll exhibit that. It's like, all right. They're like, they gave me a huge space, so I've got like I think it's about 30 meters to work with. I don't know how much that is in feet. 60 over
Mhm.
close to 60 feet to work with. So I've got like basically a whole part of the gallery to myself. So
Nice.
I've put all the pictures into frames. This is going to reflect, I know, but like this is like the last, like one of the last seeds. So all of these are they're framed to where,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Uh, and then some of them are like four, some of them are individual, some of them are two pictures of the frames. I'm just using all the frames I've got around my house. I don't have like 56 of the same type of frame, so I've got like a ton of frames around here. So I just started putting them in all the different frames, and then I'm going to put that up on Monday. Monday in Miyakonojo City Museum of Art. So that's the first time that Anti-SteamJunk Western is going to be like that to the public. So there you go.
That was really, really cool,
And then
actually.
actually yesterday I put up 4 pieces. It sounds so like juvenile, but at the local bank they put up like fine art, like
Mhm, mhm.
landscapes and stuff for people. And I was just like, I got tons of stuff just sitting around the house on the walls and things. And so my wife went in there. She's like, "Can my husband exhibit his paintings there?" So yesterday I went and put up 4 pieces, and I put up like my profile, and I put up like pictures about that have like my little QR code where it has my YouTube
Mhm.
um, time lapse videos. I put those up yesterday uh, in the local bank. So there you go, doing that, getting ready for this.
Do you get any kind of work from those type of things, or
Yeah,
people,
yeah,
like, asking to
yep,
buy your paintings?
yeah,
So
yeah,
it does
you definitely
help.
do. Yeah. This is very dark, and actually no, I could share it on my computer.
Hmm,
It's not the most amazing of stuff, but I love Van Gogh, so I did like a couple of pictures that were kind of inspired from him, and then these are really a bit. It wasn't there's some lighting from the back, so it's a bit difficult to see, but there we go. I'll share that with you. So these are just like 4
okay.
oil paintings that I did of landscapes around the neighborhood. And then down below is my profile, and then the Ultimate Robot Project. I put like they
Right.
had like the newspaper did an article about it, and they did a photo shoot of it. So put like a link to that there, and then pictures of me around there. And
Mhm.
so
No, that's really cool.
the general public gets to look at it. People who are sitting around the bank get to look at some artwork. So that's that nice stuff. There you
Do
go.
you ever I've heard that sometimes artists, if people are, like, showing a house or
Uh huh.
whatever, and they will, like, rent art to put on the walls of the house.
Ah,
Have you done
yeah.
that, or
Okay.
is
Well,
that a thing there?
my art is actually in a rental service. So
Oh.
it's called Art Miyazaki Gallery. He's a professional artist. His daughter is like his manager. And so they set up an art rental service because people just don't have the budget to buy artwork, like original artwork sometimes. And
Mm.
they want to they don't want to have the same picture. They want to switch things in and out. So they started up an art rental service, and I'm one of the artists that's part of that. Um, and I get like a cut, a percentage of the cost that the people pay for it. But it's used like in any kind of situation. I've had my stuff in people's houses. I've had them in restaurants. I've had them in bars. I've had them in like like what's the proper term? Nursing homes. Nursing
Okay.
homes.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, and I've had like and it's usually all my fine artwork.
Right.
Anything from abstract work to landscapes to pictures of Pokey the chocolate. um, yeah, so and it's great because I don't have to do any of the work.
Mhm.
They go out and they do all the publicity and the promotion, and I just get a cut of. So I'll check the bank account, and there'll be like a little bit of change in there from that.
Nice.
So yeah,
That's super cool.
yeah, I've got stuff all over the place. I really need a manager. I'm horrible about keeping myself organized. Like, I almost forgot about respect for Tolkien. I forgot about that, and I forgot like everything. I just need somebody to
Personal
notes. Yep.
secretary.
Yeah, something.
Today, this is what's on the agenda for the week. This is what you
Yeah.
need done.
Speaking of which, Angry Canadian, who's in the chat, will be at Osaka Comic Con helping me out. And
Whoop,
after
whoop.
we're finished today, the two of us are going to have a little talk about what our little our little powwow about what we're going to do here at the Osaka Comic Con. So there, I would like to. I also did like this original lino cut, Jinja Ninja lino cut. This is the cut
Ooh.
itself, and the print. This is the print. I did a 50 edition print. I love doing this kind of work, and this is the. I sold one of these at the Comic Con here recently. That's the print itself.
Nice.
Yeah, like the Ninja Star and stuff. It's got like this very, and again, I'm trying to replicate and this is where my art style came from. My comic book art style came from was this,
Okay.
because I did a lot of lino cuts when I was in college, and I like that feeling, the harsh, like, contrast and everything. So I try to, and I guess unconsciously, I try to apply that within my artwork as well for a comic book. So that's where it came from. There you go.
And I totally see that now that you say it.
Yeah. Thank you, Amani Wilson. Yeah, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I'm fine with that. It's not. If I went out there expecting everybody to love what I did, I wouldn't be able to draw anything at all.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have people that love what you do and don't like what you do. Like, I love metal. A lot of people hate metal. They think it's just screaming and screeching. But for me, I find a beauty with inside of it that really relaxes the soul. So, you do what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever brings you joy.
Yes. What brings you joy, Megan?
Man.
Other than eating steaks, which that steak that you put up the other day, oh, it looks so
That
good.
was such a good steak. I had
What's up,
had
Jacob?
the leftovers tonight. Oh
Yep.
man, it was so good. I made the steak was perfect. The asparagus was perfect. Everything was so perfect. I was like, I don't know if I could ever replicate.
Doesn't that happen sometimes?
Yes.
You do that with artwork as too. It's like it was like you did it in one stroke, and it was like perfect. You're like, whoa. How did I do that?
And the funny thing was, I was super tired that day. I wasn't, sometimes you try really hard. I'm like, I'm gonna make a good meal.
Yep.
I'm just like, and I just like threw a bunch of things together, and it ended up being the most perfect meal ever.
It's funny. One the book that I got that I've been reading right now, the series, it's called The Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. Were we talking about that earlier? I think we were. Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about that because the third book kind of like, whoa.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Unexpected revelation. There is a character, Taravani. I think it's Taravani. Yeah, Taravani, one of the two. He's a king, and he goes to this kind of like godlike lady, and what they do is you go there with a request. It's almost like magic. Like, well, it is magic, but it's magic in the sense that, like, you get something that you wanted, but you lose something in return. You have to sacrifice something, right? So he goes there in search of being very intelligent. He wants to be extremely intelligent to the point where he'll be able to save his people. And he gets that extreme intelligence for one day. And in that one day, he writes notes all over his room on anything that he could find. It's an algorithm of how to save the world. But afterwards, he becomes extremely stupid for some days. Other days, he has moderate intelligence. Other days, he has high intelligence. And other days, he's just like a zombie. But he never, ever is intelligent enough to understand what he did on that one day.
No.
Isn't that cool?
That's so crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. The night, I can't remember the character that they go to. It's like the Night Watcher. The Night Watcher is the name of the character that they go to. And one of the other main characters of the book, you find out that a lot of the characters of the book that have these amazing powers went to this lady. It's a woman, a goddess kind of thing previously. And they got these things that they were asking for, but they lost something in return.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's very philosophical.
Yes.
Too. I like that.
Well,
I love things that make you think.
He did the last two books of I think it was the last two books, the last book of the last two books of the Wheel of Time after the author died. Yeah. And he did Mistborn. So if you're into fantasy, you'll like his stuff. Yeah. Hopefully. I do. Yeah.
I feel like I've stopped reading not stopped completely, but I'm not reading as many books now. Like I'm really focused on comic books and
Mhm.
manga because like
Mhm.
I'm reading it with a specific purpose. And then I realized I was like, oh, it's becoming a chore. It was becoming a chore to read, and I used to be very very deliberate about this is what I'm going to review, so this is what I'm going to read, and now I'm just like, if I want to read it, I'm going to read it, and then if I want to review it, I'm going to review it. If I don't want to review
Yeah.
it, I'm not going to review it.
Right,
I
right.
might like read 5 comic books in a week,
Yep.
but I'm only going to review 1 or 2 because I only want to review 1 or 2. I'm not going to
Yeah.
review them all because I don't
I
feel
hear you
like
there.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
same with the manga. I was like, I can only read so many chapters so then I can review it. And I was like, nah,
Yep.
I'm just going to read what I want and then review what I want because
There you go. Hey, I like that. Yeah. Just do what you wanna do. There.
it was just
Yeah.
becoming a chore, man, and I
Yeah,
didn't want that
if
to
you're
be a
not
chore.
enjoying what you're doing, then you gotta change something. Exactly.
Yes.
And I'll be honest, I wasn't enjoying what I was doing with my artwork. I felt like it was so unnatural to be trying to do of the some abstract work I was doing, I was like when I had, like, a science fiction theme, I was having fun.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, I would go into, like, space, I would do, like, these, I don't know if I have a good picture of it. Um, uh, let me try to find I've got an art portfolio here of just all kinds of stuff I've done. Finish yeah, yeah, okay, so this is like a yeah, this is actually a very huge piece. Uh, there we go. Window, this one. Yeah, this is about 100 and this is like almost 6 feet tall by 6 feet wide, and this is oil. This is just me going off into space, like leaving this realm and this is like a lot of techniques that I got from Kent Williams, like his ways to like buffer things out to make them
Mhm.
uh and this actually got a big award at like a but I if I tried to replicate that same look, it felt forced and it didn't feel real.
Mm.
So
Mhm.
it was just like that one moment where you had, and then you can't go back into that moment again. And if you
Yep.
do, and you feel like you're forcing it. So it was difficult for me to come up with like a series of works that were all the same, feel. I don't know if I have.
Gotcha.
Sorry, well, there, my
No,
bad.
that's okay.
Yeah, like so, like these kind of style, and
Mhm.
uh, but I just felt like it was. I don't know. I felt like I was. It was very. It didn't feel like it was me. It felt like I was trying to do something. Like this is like I don't know. I was. I wasn't having as much fun as I am now. If you know
Mm.
what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. But
You're
yeah. There you
trying to
go.
like fit yourself into like a certain box.
Yes. Yeah. And sometimes I felt like I had success, but it was very, very, very far and in between. And I didn't feel like I was progressing. I felt like I was just staying at the same kind of level.
Mm.
Whereas
Mhm.
feel like with this, I feel like there's like a progression level. I could see myself getting better. I could see myself, achieving things and honing in on skills in certain things. And being able to tell stories. That's the one thing I like to
Yep.
be able to do is tell stories through artwork. And it's difficult to do that with an abstract piece.
It is. I feel like it's
Yeah.
kind of like an abstract piece. It just kind of sits there,
Yeah, yeah. It's in that
and
yeah.
it doesn't it doesn't move forward or backward or anywhere. It's just it is
It's that
there.
one moment. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like whereas if you're doing like a piece with especially that has a figure in it, you can imagine what goes on before. You can go imagine what goes on afterwards. You
Mhm.
can within the
Moments in
figure,
time.
yeah, you could reflect things upon with your own experiences, things within the figure that you see. Uh, and the older they get, the more experiences you have, the better that you can relate to it, or not just relate to it, but interact with it, or be. It's almost like a cartoon that you watch when you were a kid, or a movie that you watched when you're a kid, and when you watch it at a later time, you watch it at a different, like a point of view, like a different perspective, and it's
Yep.
a totally different experience, but still an experience that is worthwhile. You know?
Yep.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
sure.
I'm just blabbering here, aren't
Kind
I?
of like the monkey's paw.
Yeah, the monkey's paw is what he's talking about whenever you get like that, you're granted a wish and it comes
Ah,
true, but there's a negative effect that happens
gotcha.
afterwards. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Well, did anybody else have any questions for Jinja Ninja while he's here? About his art, about his comic book. We've been talking about art and life and comic books. It's been great.
Yeah, it's just all over the place. That's fun though.
Philosophy,
That's what I like to do.
you know.
Now, I would really like to do some Conan pieces too. I want to do some
Yeah.
uh, yeah, some of that barbarian like fantasy kind of work, which is why I'm kind of messing around with these oils because I want to do it Frazetta style. Like I want to really get
Okay.
into oils and mess around with those. It's crazy if you look at a Frazetta piece, like it's it's not super detailed. It's very when you get close up to it, with like a lot of those artists, it looks like it's super detailed, but it's just the way that you play with the colors that
Mm-hmm.
makes it have that visual effect. But when you really get down and look close to it, it's just like planes, blobs. Yeah.
Art is weird.
Oh, okay. Money Wilson says I hung out with Jinja in Vegas before. You're making out for I can't make it to the April meetup, no. But is Jinja Gary Nerdronic's great grandson? I could
High
be.
fire.
Could be. Yeah. I can't make it out to the Vegas one. I wanted to make it out to Dallas Fan Expo. That was my dream for this year. But if I didn't get into Fan Expo, I wasn't going to be able to go up to meet up there. So I, but look for me in Boston if I could get in. Fingers crossed. Boston Fan Expo. Hopefully
Boston
I can
Fan
make it up there.
Expo. Warwick wants to know if you have ever painted miniatures.
No, I haven't. I haven't painted any miniatures before. I don't know if it's something I'd get into. It's something that yeah, it's something that I've seen other people do. It looks cool. I especially like how they get certain textures, like
Yep.
with the metals and things, or how it feels like it's rusted, or how it feels like it's worn metal. I would love to use that within my own artwork. You know what I mean? Like take those kind of techniques and put that into my own artwork.
Do you like 70s anime like Mazinger Z, etc.?
Let me look that up. Have I seen? Because I'm horrible with names. Oh, Mazinger Z. Yeah, they call that Gotcha Man here, isn't it? Is that Gotcha Man? That's Gotcha Man.
I'm very new to anime, so.
Oh no, that's Mazinger Z. Okay, so when I was a kid, I watched things not knowing that it was anime, but liked them, like Voltron and Robotech. I love those when I was a kid. Um, right now, I don't watch anime at all now. It's kind of weird because I'm in Japan and kids watch anime here. You know what I mean? My
Mm-hmm.
daughter is watching anime. She's watching Demon Slayer.
Yep.
She's singing the Demon Slayer song, and I'm like, it's really popular with all the kids. So I don't know how to explain it. It's like sometimes I'll watch a Doraemon movie with her, Doraemon, right? Or sometimes I'll watch some One Piece with her, but
Okay.
I don't really get into it. I
Yeah.
don't know why. But like but I could always go back and watch like, and I preach on like I always tell people go out there and watch Magnetic Rose. It's an awesome anime movie. It's got three
Mm.
parts, three different anime styles, three different stories. Magnetic Rose. Go back and watch Wings of Escaflowne. It's great. Sully just put a post about that up on Literature Devil's tweet. Um, Wings of Escaflowne. I really love that back in the day. Those are ones that stood out for me. Magnetic Rose, Wings of Escaflowne. I also liked watching X. It was done by it's a story about these people who have these dragons and stuff. X. It was actually a shoujo manga, a girl's comic book, but it was really cool art, and it had X Japan music in it. And
Oh.
Low Spec will know what I'm talking about. If you don't know X Japan, the hairspray metal band, go check them out. X Japan.
X
Listen to
Japan.
X Japan. Listen to Rusty Nail. Listen to Forever Love. Endless Rain. Listen to Kurenai. Kurenai. Yeah, some awesome music there. Um, oh yeah. Nausicaa. Yeah. Yes, Amoni Wilson. That's the Djibouti stuff. Yeah, and the Djibouti stuff I liked as well. Yeah, like Kiki's Delivery Service.
Ugh, yeah.
That was really I really love that movie. That was my favorite one of his. I just like that story of that little love story. I'm a bit of a romantic myself. Yeah.
Nausicaa has famous old school artwork.
Yep. And that's the old school 80s style Djibouti, that kind of the feel to it, which I like that old style more than I do the modern day anime stuff. Yep, definitely. And it's that aesthetic. If I don't like how it looks, I won't give it the time of day. Even if it's got a great story, if I don't like the look of it, it's just the artist in me, I guess. I
Yeah.
want to see good looking artwork. Yeah, I remember X Earth Dragons versus Heaven Dragons, Bandito. That's the one. Yeah, and I actually read the manga when I was in Japan when I first came here. And then they had an anime with it, and then they had the X Japan at the end. Yeah. Now Low Spec knows everything about like Japanese metal, Japanese rock. The guy's like, yeah, he knows his stuff.
He's
Yeah,
all into this now. We're talking anime and music.
all over the place. Entertainment.
Oh,
Yeah,
get up
yeah, get up
early.
early. Yep, Voltron was on really early, if I remember correctly, and they had, oh, geez, I'm trying to remember everything that I saw that was the anime-ish. It's funny because when I was in college, I was in I studied in Osaka for a year, as a foreign exchange student, and I came back to the States. I came back to college. I was like, I can't lose my Japanese. I have to retain it. What can I do? We didn't have a lot of Japanese people there, and I felt like a stalker if I was trying to like strike up conversation with them. I felt really
Yep.
weird. But we had an anime club, and some of the artists in my school were in the anime club. I was like, anime club, anime, that's for geeks and stuff. Those people are weird, you know. That's what people thought about anime people
Yes.
back in the days, right? So I was like, but shoot, they seem like cool guys. I'll try it out. And next thing you know, I'm vice president of the anime club.
That's hilarious.
I was like, what the hell?
Mm.
Yeah.
Phil wants to know what your favorite anime is.
Well, it was Wings of Escaflowne was my favorite anime.
Wings of
I just loved it
Escaflowne.
because it was like medieval knights with mecha. So you can't go wrong there. Yeah. Medieval knights with mecha. Oh, speaking of knights and stuff, we were talking about the comics and books and stuff and how it relates. Shadversity, you know Shad,
Yes.
right?
Yep. Yep.
He actually was a consultant, an armor and weapons consultant with Brandon Sanderson on the Stormlight Archives that I'm reading.
No way.
Yep, I think it was on the third or fourth book. He was the weapons consultant. So
That's
Brandon
crazy.
Sanderson came to him to talk about. And it's funny, whenever I
Wow.
started listening to Shad's book, I noticed some themes that were very close with Brandon Sanderson's stuff, and I was like, I feel like that, Brandon Sanderson kind of rubbed off, which is not a bad thing at all. You emulate, you copy the people that you admire, and I definitely think that does. And of course, if you talk to Shadversity, he would definitely tell you he's a Brandon Sanderson fan. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. The surprised the characters were dying in those old. I'm responding to Robert Lowery's here,
Yes.
and that was weird in Voltron. Man, those monsters got ripped apart and like brutally, or like when I was a kid, that was like, oh my god, that scarred me, but in a cool way.
In a cool way.
Yeah,
Man, we never had a TV when I was a kid growing up, so like, yeah.
yeah.
This was never part of my childhood.
Mm.
If it was, I'd be like, is my mom gonna walk in?
Well,
She's gonna turn this off.
it was funny. My mom kind of went through those phases as well because we went to church. My family,
Yeah.
it was crazy. My mom's side of the family, they were Baptist up in Indiana.
Mhm.
So when I lived in Indiana, North Carolina, off and on, off and on. And when we were in Indiana, we went to Baptist church. When we were down in North Carolina, we went to Pentecostal. We were Pentecost, whatever, you know.
Yep. Yep.
So we were speaking in tongues, jumping pews, doing all that fun
Mhm.
stuff. But it was weird. Like, I remember at some points my mom was like, "Oh, we can't watch this. This is like Satan kind of things." But at other times in her life, she was like, she didn't care. She kind of
Mhm.
went through
Mhm.
those phases as well. So,
Yep. Yep.
but I always remember going, "I'll just do what I want to do." That's how it was. that's how I've always been. I've always been like this guy who just did what he wanted to do. But my mom would always look at my drawings, and it was funny. I've got 3 brothers. There's 4 of us, 4 boys, all 4
Oh,
boys.
wow.
And I was the last one to ever I was, like, pretty Christian, and I was like, "I'm never going to smoke, I'm never going to drink, never gonna do anything
Mhm.
like that." And my mom would look at my and I knew that my other brothers were doing things with they were, like, experimenting with drugs and alcohol and stuff, and I was the only one who wasn't.
Mhm.
I was a grade A student. I don't know, I was the top of my class, I was the valedictorian, I was, like, all, really, honed in on my studies and stuff,
Straight-laced and yeah.
and my mom would always look at my artwork, and she's like she sat me down at the kitchen table one day, she's like, "James, we need to talk." I was like, "Okay," and she's like, "What kind of drugs are you using?" And I'm like, "Huh?" She's like, "I've been looking at your artwork, and you've definitely," because she grew up in that generation, the psychedelic, right? She was
Right.
always on the drugs and everything, so she probably saw all that stuff, was like, "I don't get close to drugs at all. I've never used drugs. I've never
Oh
even
my
drunk alcohol. I've
gosh.
never smoked a cigarette, never done anything." And she's like, "No, no, no, just be honest with me. Just tell me it's okay. I just don't want you to get into trouble." I was like, "Um, if you're looking for anybody in our family who's using drugs, you might wanna talk to some of the other brothers." Me, 'cause I don't get mind you,
Just
since
throw
then,
them under the bus.
I might have no, I mean, we all knew it, like
Yeah.
I like how
That's so
Firefox says Stormlight
funny.
Archives is my all-time favorite series. Yeah, it's really good. There are times in Stormlight, I think it's because I'm listening to the audiobook, I would rather be reading it because
Mm,
sometimes it can get a bit like, with the dialogue, it can get a bit corny, but I think that's how it's delivered through the audiobook. And
okay,
there's
yeah.
another, Shadversity, his audio is done by the same people who does, Stormlight Archives, and he got that through Brandon Sanderson. He got those people to do it as well. So that's another thing that they have in common. Um, but yeah, like, I've never done art when I was under the influence of any kind of drugs. Now, I did recently go to a draw and drink. It was my first time to do a draw and drink in Tokyo. I had a good time. And I ended up it was crazy. We had like a burlesque dancer. She was the model.
Okay, yep.
And then she came out on stage and did her whole deal. And then she would strike a pose. And then we have like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 18 minutes, 20 minutes. And I ended up having a lot of wine and drinking. And I ended up winning the contest for like we did like a 20-minute pose and she went around and she had to decide whose picture was the best and she chose mine
Oh.
and I ended up getting like a free ticket for another event or whatever it was. But by the time I was pretty in my cups, and I ended up signing my artwork and giving it all to everybody for free. All the sketches that I did, all the sketches, because everyone was like, "Oh, we really like these sketches," and I just like, "Yeah, yeah, here, you get a sketch, and you get a sketch," and I just ended up giving it away to everybody.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
Yeah. Yes, I've seen
Ugh.
Lost in Translation. I've only watched it a couple of times. It's a great, 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 amazing movie, but it's one of those movies, I don't know why, but it's really heavy for me to watch.
Mm.
Maybe it's because I went through a lot of the experiences of living in Japan as those characters did, but, and, like but, there are those movies, I don't know if there are any movies that you've watched where it's amazing, it's an amazing movie, but you can only watch it, like, once. I don't know, for
Mm.
me, I've got a bunch of those that I could list off. I don't know if there's any movie that you've seen or any book that you've read that you're like, "Oh, wow, that's really amazing," but I can only watch it once or read it once.
Honestly, when it comes to movies, I have a really bad memory, and
Mhm.
I will have people say, "Megan, you've watched this," and I'm like, "No, no, I haven't watched this. I haven't."
Yeah.
And then I sit down to watch it, and halfway through, I'll be like, "Oh yeah, I did." I have a
Yeah,
really horrific memory.
for me, Memento, yes, Bandito. Memento, I've only watched once. It's really, really heavy. It's an amazing
Oh yeah,
movie
Schindler's
by
List
Christopher
would be
Nolan.
one, I guess. Yeah,
Actually,
I've only seen that
I've
once.
watched Schindler's List many times, probably about 5 or
Really?
6 times. Yeah, I love it. It's a great, but, yeah, Schindler's List, yeah, yeah, I would say that's one of my favorite World War II movies. To bring it back to comic books, Logan. I only watched it once, and I don't think I'll ever watch it again because it's heavy. Watching Professor X suffer like that, watching Wolverine suffer like that, watching the death of so many mutants, and it just hits way too hard. Yeah. Oh, Optic Racer. Yeah, that's one of the. Yeah. It's funny. Like Lost in Translation, a lot of people are like, "Oh my God, that's so crazy." That would no, that kind of stuff happens here. It's pretty much on par with what goes on here.
Wow.
Butterfly Effect was a heavy one, but another one that I just started watching it the other day. I've only watched it once. Has anybody out there seen Mr. No. I'm gonna get it wrong. Hold on a second. Let me get the title here before I. Darn it. I don't want to get this wrong. Yeah, Mr. Nobody. Mr. Nobody. 2009 Jared Leto movie. Really weird. It's basically, again, this is another one of those multiverse ones. Everybody's talking about how like Everything Everywhere All at Once did it correctly. Well, this one's another one that did the multiverse in a very artistic and I thought it was done in a very excellent way. Mr. Nobody. Definitely an underrated movie. Jared Leto basically, I'm kind of romantic myself. And in this movie, he basically walks by a bench when he's a little kid and he sees three women, three little girls, and those three different timelines where he's basically three different universes, three different timelines where he's with all these they grow up together, and even within those timelines, he makes different choices. It's kind of like the butterfly effect, but on in a very sci-fi, more of a check it out, Mr. Nobody.
Mr. Nobody. That sounds like one of those like super artsy films that a lot of people have trouble watching.
It's not complete. It is artsy, but it's good. It's really good. It's like it reminds me. I don't know. Have you ever seen Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind? Jim Carrey, Kate Winslet.
Yep.
Love that movie. I love that movie. It is kind of artsy movie though. So there are elements of that within this movie as well. Just like the way that the memories and everything are messed around with, and you don't know exactly if it's real or not or what's going on there. But yeah, if you get a chance, check out Mr. Nobody.
Mr. Nobody.
Yeah, Mr. Nobody. Jared Leto. Whenever this is like Jared Leto. Whenever because I think this was after. This was definitely after Requiem for a Dream, which was Jared Leto and girl from Labyrinth. What's her name? It's blanked out on her name. Beautiful woman. She was in the Hulk, the original Hulk movie by. Oh my gosh, why did I forget her name? Oh well. Yes, Joaquin Phoenix. Her, yes, her. Joaquin Phoenix, great movie. I love the movie Her. Yes. Her is an excellent movie. Scarlett Johansson plays the computer voice. Really good movie. Have you seen it? Her. It's done. It's by. Well, this one's the Spike Jonze. Spike Jonze did the movie. Spike Jonze also. He also did. Darn it. He also did. The John Malkovich movie. He also did. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking? Yeah, he's done. Jennifer Connelly, thank you. Jennifer Connelly was also in Labyrinth, and she was in Requiem for a Dream. Yeah, Ex Machina is also a good one. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen that one. It's been a very long time.
Yeah. Oh, there's so many movies out there that I could talk about movies forever, but write it down. Lost in Translation.
Lost in Translation.
Yeah, it's Bill Murray and Scarlett Johansson, and it takes place in Japan. That's where you see the Bill Murray meme, the GIF. Where he does that. That's where that comes from. Yeah. Yeah.
It's so funny how all these like GIFs and memes become part of like culture.
Yep.
And after a while, it's to some generations, it's forgotten what it's even from. It's
You could
funny
say
because
that
they
about
understand the
yeah.
meaning of the meme
Mhm.
and why it's used,
Yep.
but they have no understanding of, like, where it's from.
That exists within all of within our language, that exists with art, that exists within our culture. There's so many things that the original, like, where it came from has completely been forgotten, and then what imitated it became what, people
What it's
know,
known for.
what it's
Yes.
known for. It's insane, isn't it?
It's
Yeah,
it's
and
crazy
and
how
that's
that
definitely
happens.
happens with memes, and is it GIFs or GIFs? I always call it GIFs, but people say
I always
GIFs.
call it gifts.
Yeah, but I hear people call it GIFs. I was like, "Nah, it's GIFs."
It's a G, it's GIF.
Yeah, like giraffe. Oh, no. Yeah.
It's always gonna be gift in my mind. GIF in my mind. That's just the way it is.
Sofia Coppola also did, oh, she did Megan?
Huh?
Huh?
What?
Sofia Coppola did Lost in Translation, but I didn't know that she did Megan.
There's a
Megan?
movie named after me.
That's the one with the
That
android
creepy
robot
one?
girl.
Ugh, I
Yeah.
don't want to see that one.
She did
Yeah.
that? I didn't think she did that.
Hmm.
No, that's not her. That's Gerard Johnstone. Lost in Translation was by Sofia Coppola, right? Optic Racer? Maybe you got your copy paste mixed up there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, yeah, no, I meant Lost. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lost is yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Fire says a lot of people know beware the Ids of March, but don't know where it comes from nor what it's referencing.
Is that
Yes,
the Ides or the Ids?
everybody was quoting that today on
Yeah, the
Twitter the last
Ides.
couple
Yeah.
days.
That's Beware the Ides of March. That's Caesar, correct?
I think so, yes.
That's from the Shakespearean play, right? Oh man, I'm gonna get it wrong. Yeah, it's Shakespeare from Caesar. Yeah, there we go. I always have to second guess myself because I think I'm right,
And I
but
mean, who
sometimes I'm wrong.
reads Shakespeare nowadays unless you're forced to in school? Like that's
Yeah.
just and yet there's so many Shakespeare quotes and memes
Yep.
and things.
Yep. But his stuff also, I mean, was a lot of people believe that. I mean, anybody out there see the Northman?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the whole story about the Northman? What it's
Nope.
based on?
No.
Be prepared to have your mind blown. The Northman, the main character, his name is Amleth. A-M, right? Amleth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now take that H and put it at the beginning of the name. What do you think Hamlet's based on? Amleth is an old Norwegian story, and that's where Hamlet came from.
No way.
Amleth is well, I mean, no, it's based on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you watch the movie Northman, the Northman is based on Amleth, and the whole story is like a Hamlet thing, right? So people are like, oh, Northman's based on Hamlet. No, this was based on the story Amleth, which was an old Norwegian tale.
That is crazy.
To take that H and put it at the front, and that's Shakespeare's story of Hamlet. So Hamlet is, there we go.
Is out of the dang.
Mind is blown.
Jeepers.
Beowulf is another amazing movie. No, the story Beowulf. Now, when I was in college, I took a course, and that was one of the books that we had to read was Beowulf. Now, if I'm correct, the movie, which is one of my favorite movies, is The 13th Warrior, starring Antonio Banderas.
Mm.
And the I can't remember, was it the movie or the book? I can't remember. There was Michael Crichton did a book, and I believe did he do the book that the movie was based on? I'm gonna get everything mixed up here. But the whole thing was the book. Okay, good. There was a bet. Michael Crichton, I believe. Yes, the 13th War was based on a book, but the movie was amazing. I haven't read the book. The bet was Michael Crichton had to take Beowulf and make it interesting. I think that's where the 13th Warrior came from, because you
Okay.
see the Beowulf. There's so much the Grendel and everything. There's a lot of yeah, it was definitely influenced from the book Beowulf. And I'm pretty sure Michael Crichton made a bet that he had to make the Beowulf interesting Tell me if I'm wrong. If you guys know I am, but that's what I heard. Yeah. Awesome one. Hey, what's up?
Craziness. Hi, awesome one. We had a bunch of new people show up. We were talking about anti-SteamJunk Western, and then we got into like art and philosophy and
now you know Hamlet. Hamlet.
Yep, there we go.
Have you seen The Northman?
Me?
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yes.
So good. It's
I did
heavy,
see it.
and it's not
It was
everybody's cup of
heavy.
tea. It's not everybody's cup of tea. Again, what I like about that director is he's like, I will never do anything that takes place in the modern world. I'm just going to stick with the past. It's a good idea. He's going to be doing what's his name? Edgar. No, his name is Edgar's. Edgar's? Yeah, that's his last name, I think. He's going to be doing Nosferatu, the new Nosferatu movie. Yeah. There you go. Robert Eggers. Thank you, Buddy Wilson. Robert Eggers. That's him. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Fire, for the history. Robert Eggers.
Robert Eggers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, he did Witch, but the Witch, a really scary horror movie about dude, like it's, and he also did The Lighthouse, which Wakizashi did a big stream on that here recently.
Mm-hmm.
White House stars Robert Patterson and why am I forgetting his name? Darn it. The guy who I really like. I always forget his name. Yeah, he's been in so many movies. He actually played Nosferatu a while back. It's a black and white movie, The Lighthouse. Really, really weird. And then The Northman. But there is a common theme throughout his films that deals with like hallucinogens.
Okay.
Yes, The Witch is awesome. It is. I've only watched it once because it creeped me the hell out. I watched it by myself at night in my house where everybody was gone. I was like, I'm not good with scary movies. Like, I like them if they're done well, but I get freaked out still. I still have to turn the lights on and put the covers over my head.
No,
Defoe, thank you, William Defoe. Thank you, Eric, your creator.
Scary movies are not for me.
Yeah, I don't like those like Saw and stuff like that. I don't like those gory ones. Not my cup of tea.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a part of me that is like intrigued by horror movies and such, but it's that genre is not something that I would ever like sit down and be like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah, I mean,
This is
there's
my absolute last choice.
It was speaking of movies, it was really gratifying the other day to hear Chris Gore. He was talking about like his the pre-Oscars before the Academy show. He was talking about his favorite movies of this year, and my favorite was The Northman. But my second favorite, the one that he talked about, I was trying to tell everybody, you gotta watch this movie. It's so good. It should be winning so many awards. Is All Quiet on the Western Front. It's a German movie about World War I. Oh, it is beautiful. And there are so many scenes in that movie that just stick with you. And the acting is amazing. Dialogue is amazing. The cinematography is amazing. And everybody was going crazy about 1917, the World War movie. I was like, 1917, yeah, it's good, but it's not, it felt like a video game to me. Like everything just seemed up perfectly. It was like one shot. And it was just like, yeah, this was really good. But All Quiet, insanely amazing good. And then Chris Gore just went on and on about it. I was like, thank God it wasn't just me. Thank God it wasn't just me that realized like it's just such a good movie. I don't know if it got any awards. I didn't watch the Oscars. I'm not.
Oh no.
Can you see what they're? I'm just blabbering on here, Megan. I apologize. Just stop
No,
me
you're
when you want
fine.
to. But did you see what they're doing now with everything, everywhere, all at once? Now they're making it to like a TV show on Disney Plus, dude. It just takes away from it. You know what I mean? It looks like it's. Some people are calling it Crouching Tiger all at once or something like that. Oh, come on. Don't do that to it. That's what they're doing.
Well, they're all talking about scary movies now in the chat.
The Omen 1978. That was scary, yeah. The Omen 2, I didn't did I watch The Omen 2? Yeah, I did watch The Omen 2. The Babadook. Babadook was a scary one, but I like those kind of artsy, scary ones. Babadook was about because I like the design of the book. The illustration was cool.
Hmm.
It's a movie where there's a book that
Yeah.
basically that they can't get rid of, and everything that happens in the book is what's happening in real life. But it's really scary because there's a monster in there. Yeah,
Oh. Mm-mm.
but it's yeah. The Babadook is like I think it's either a New Zealand horror character. I could be wrong. Yeah,
Hmm.
there we go.
Someone
But
will
but
tell us.
but
They
the
know.
metaphor, yeah. Oh yeah, Babadook is it to be is it yeah.
No thanks.
But the movie itself, the monster is a metaphor for something else, which I really
Okay.
liked because it was actually I don't want to like I don't want to like kill it for anybody out there, like spoil it, but I found it to be in the end. In the end, whenever you get to the end of the movie, you realize, oh, it's just a metaphor for something. So
Okay.
it's not real, like it's a metaphor for what one of the main characters is dealing with. In my opinion, that's what it was.
Well, that kind of makes it interesting.
It
I
does
don't
because it
like horror movies that are just like let's just slash and kill and jump
yeah,
scare
no, no, no.
and whatever.
I'm not
They
into those either. Yeah.
I
I feel
know.
sorry for people in those. I feel bad for them. Like, oh no, I feel so bad for you. Yeah,
No, no. If
yeah.
there's some sort of a point or something to it, then I don't feel like I've wasted my time watching it.
Right, right. I hear you. Yeah, this one is definitely like because I was freaked out, and then I get to the end, and it's just like, like it like takes the weight off your shoulders, and then you're just like, oh, actually, I could apply this to my life. So there we go, a lesson learned. That's what I got
Yeah.
from
Well,
Babadook.
then maybe. But I'd probably have to find someone to watch it with me. Will not
Uh,
watch alone. Nope, no.
yeah, it freaked me out. Yeah, there's a
Not alone.
yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of scary movies out there that are really there was like the orphanage with the orphanage that was a scary was that Guillermo del Toro? Did he do Orphanage? No, it wasn't him, was it? Orphanage movie. The orphanage. No, but it's a Spanish Mexican Gothic supernatural horror film. It's done by who directed it? J.A. Bayona. That was a good one, The Orphanage. Yeah. Yeah. And again, some metaphors in there.
Hmm.
Sorry. There we go. I don't want to talk too much about horror movies. It'll scare you.
Talking about it won't scare me. It's the watching. I
I hear
just
you.
won't watch it. No.
I'm I'm evil. I I'm a bully. Every Halloween, I have my own English school here. I'm amazed that all my students haven't quit. But with my high school students, especially because I have like a lot of girls in there, we always do this this I have this lesson where it's our scary stories when we were kids, like from Goosebumps and stuff.
Yes. Yep.
Okay, so we have an English lesson. It's basically they have the first half of it, the story. It's like a really short version of it, and then they have to work together to figure out how the story ends.
Mm.
So they have like the one where it's like the woman with the ribbon around the neck.
Yep.
She tells her husband not to take it off.
Uh huh.
Okay, so then they have to think about what the oh, good night.
Night. Nagurdal. Shut.
Yep. So the students have to think about how it's going to end, right? So one of them is that story. And that one's a pretty easy one. The other
Mm-hmm.
one is about how this guy picks up a person who's waiting at a bus stop and takes her home, and then realizes she forgot her jacket, and then brings it back to her house the next day just to find out that she's not alive anymore. And that's the bus stop where she died at. And I was actually, and I tell the, I'm so horrible. Everybody, don't cancel me for this, but I tell the girls, actually, they made a video about this one. And they're like, oh, really? I was like, yeah, do you want to watch it? They're like, oh, sure. And I show them the video, and it's a guy riding around in the forest, like this forest road, and you're looking at it from above. I was like, so this is the guy when he's riding around the forest to go pick up the. And then all of a sudden, it has that. It's one of those videos where it scares you, and all of a sudden the zombie, rah! I do
Oh
like
no.
It's classic.
I hate those videos.
So it's this one
Oh my
of like this
god.
guy driving around like this country road, and it's like just like the story, like a guy driving around a country road, and all of a sudden this zombie like ghost kind of thing just pops up, and all the girls, ah! Yeah, I'm horrible. You got to have fun every once in a while.
Oh my goodness. What is angry Canadian? Jinja, you were.
Money.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Is
it's
that money?
coins. I get it. Are they coins?
Is that earlier in the chat?
I don't know. No, this is just
Oh, okay. Man, I'm getting like a.
maybe.
Oh, I've lost it. I don't. Is
I
that
don't see
recent?
it anymore
Huh? I don't see it either.
on the YouTube side. That's weird.
Yeah. Oh, it could be a ghost story. No, I lost it. It looks like it says money. Let me enlarge you here. Oh no, you're waffles. You're awful. You're
Wow.
waffles. You're awful. Is
Wow.
that what you're trying to say?
Is
You're
that what you're trying to
waffles. You're
say?
awfuls.
It's a really bad dad joke. Angry Canadian. I don't know.
Maybe that's what he was trying to say. I don't know. Angry Canadian. Yeah.
Maybe.
Waffling. You're waffling. You're waffling.
Maybe waffling.
What does that mean?
I have no idea. Yes, waffling. What I don't
What does that mean?
think he.
It's waffles. Well, awful. There's an Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like what is it?
No.
What? What did he order? I falafel. I don't get it.
A falafel?
I
No.
falafel.
We don't need. Oh
Oh
man.
boy.
We're
Yeah.
losing it now. We're losing it now.
You're waffling like gray. Oh, waffling. Still don't understand what that means.
Like back and forth? Up and down?
What does waffling mean? Let's ask the Urban Dictionary. What does waffling mean? Speak or write at length in a vague or trivial manner. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Apparently you need to be more specific.
I got you.
The opinion
Oh,
goes back and forth between different sides of an argument. Thank you, Robert. Well,
what am I waffling on? My opinions are set in stone. They never change. Sometimes they do, though.
oh, good gracious.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Angry Canadian's a good guy.
So funny. Alrighty. Well, I don't want to like.
Yeah, it's been 2 hours.
It has been 2 hours,
Megan.
and I was like, I'm getting tired. I'm starting to crash.
Yeah,
I'm like a little old lady, and I have to go to bed before 10. You know what I'm saying?
Do you live in a shoe?
I mean, I mean, I should just get like a tiny home, and just me and my. I wouldn't fit in a tiny home. I got a piano. I got a lot of books.
I saw that you're doing some. I'm going to shout out Megan right now. She's getting back into some ballet stuff as well. If you haven't seen her ballet pics, they're cool. Also, she's trying her get back into some modeling, so let's give her support there. Sorry to hear about. It's kind of strange. Like we both had a little bit of a rejection there at the same time, didn't we? You got you got your modeling rejection. I got my Dallas rejection. But you know what we do? We don't give up.
It's true. We don't.
We fall down. We get right back up, and we just keep on going forward.
Something better.
Yeah.
We're just as good.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a boomer.
No, I'm a boomer.
I'm just technologically challenged and a noob. But anyways, you guys, it's been really great to talk to Jinja Ninja.
It's been great being on here. Yeah.
Anti-SteamJunk Western, because the goal is 50 because it's a happy even number, guys. The goal is 50. I don't know if he'll be unhappy if it goes to 51 or 52, but
hey, if it goes past it, no qualms. I mean, there are 52 pages of stories, so I guess that's okay because there's some significance with that number. And it is a 60-page book, so if we do hit 60, it's like 2 birds, 1 stone, even number with the 0 on the end. Oof, it's beautiful. I was just going to say it's like eye porn to me.
You like zeros? Oh my gosh.
Zeros.
Okay.
There you go.
Yes, there's Instagram. There's Twitter.
Thank you. Let's yeah, I'm trying to promote the Instagram, the Twitter, the YouTube. I don't know why, but it's, you know, you hit that 1,000 on something and it makes you feel good on the
Yeah.
inside, I guess. So I never really focus on the numbers of things, but I am on my Twitter. I'm like hovering 960, and it keeps on going up and down, up and down. But
Yep.
if you, because I like the zeros, it'll skip me at
He likes
1,000, right?
zeros,
Yeah,
guys.
just the three of
Like
them.
zeros.
And if I get to 1,000, I'll just stop. I'll just, won't allow anybody to leave or add on anymore. But yeah,
Well, thank you for coming
yeah.
on. Thank you,
Thank you for having
everybody.
me.
You're
Yes.
welcome. It was good. It was good. We
Yeah,
we covered all the subjects,
I think we
everything
did.
in between. Yeah,
Yeah, we
literally
didn't
all the
really get into
subjects.
some conspiracy theories, but I think that's for another stream, right?
We'll do that another time.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Have a good one.